What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate Podcast, episode 151. Thank you all for joining in the live chat, as well as if you're listening later on any of the audio platforms. I appreciate that as well. We got a lot to talk about today. Forza details have come out, revealing the multiplayer modes. More information has come out as well. There are some questions that we have regarding Forza, but I don't think anything too serious. It's just want to get some answers on some things. But besides that, maybe a little bit of a look ahead at Starfield. And we had a showcase today. THQ Nordic actually had a showcase today that had some pretty cool announcements on it, I have to say. So we'll dive into that. And if you're enjoying Baldur's Gate 3 right now, then maybe there's a game in there that might tickle your fancy a little bit. And there's another one that if you're a Skyrim or, you know, maybe looking forward to Avowed, there's another game coming out from them that you might look forward to as well. So we'll get into that and more. But first off, hello to Fuzzy and his cat. Is any of their names Felix?
No,
one's
one's named Heidi and the other one's named Ellie. Ellie seems asleep, but Heidi's the one roaming around in the background. But glad to be here with you guys. I got some stuff to talk about with Forza, so can't wait to get into that. But the THQ showcase was decent. I mean, for THQ, it was some interesting titles shown and stuff like that. But man, Starfield, the hype machine on that still building, and I don't know, just weird decisions on certain games, and then you got devs downplaying Baldur's Gate as far as like not necessarily their accomplishments, but like the bar being raised, and we'll get into
they're
it.
saying like, oh, don't make us try and make better games. Like that's just weird energy.
Has anyone seen the devs comments on that though?
Yes.
Okay, because
I saw them early on.
Okay, because I saw the video and I was like, but I haven't really seen any like actual devs come out and be like.
Even Josh Sawyer said something. He was like, don't expect AAA CRPGs.
He said this is an outlier.
And
but that was more of like a positive like thing. It wasn't like it's not as negative as like some of the other like stuff people were talking about. Like
no, his was nowhere near as negative in comparison.
No, but he was basically saying the same thing. Anyways, we'll get into it. Yeah.
I agree. Hey, welcome to the show, Steel Rain. How's it going, bro?
What?
Oh, let's see if like.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh yeah.
What's up, man?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to fight a headache real quick, but I'm here and rolling. You guys, how was the chat feeling? How are you guys feeling? Hopefully, you didn't have a tough day thus far.
Oh, pretty okay. Pretty okay day today. Yeah, not bad. Chat seems like they're fire. This is there's a lot of Forza stuff we'll get to, and I appreciate you being here, bro. I know I sent you a message saying, hey, you're happy to come through anytime. So, you're one of the brothers here, so
I'm just surprised he didn't come in here with Game of the Year, Armored Core 6, Steel. What's going on? You've been preaching.
Game of the Year is Armored Core 6. Starfield wish it had mechs like Armored Core. Hogwarts wishes it had enough magic to sustain Armored Core. What else did I throw in there? Zelda was sad. Yes, but Baldur's Gate didn't have enough gates to sustain an Armored Core. So,
Armored Core's marketing, we saw that today too, is better than Starfield's. It's on that.
That's
bus.
True, but that's true. That is true.
We're grading paint jobs on buses now.
Yes, but we need to know how many buses
right now. There's just one bus a piece right now.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy's winning. It has 3 buses. But we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
Right on. We have a 3-bit sighting.
What?
3-bit. Welcome to the show, bro. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be here. Miss y'all.
It's a rare 3-bit. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like a Pokemon, man. It's like the rarest.
It's been a long time. It was, I miss podcasting with you guys, but life has taken over a little bit. A lot of work I had to do the past few weeks. And unfortunately, I just had to put some things aside. But a lot of gaming news that is happening, and I'm gonna hear through you guys because I don't know what's going on in the gaming sphere.
Oh, I think you do, 3-bit. I think we
nah.
I think we witnessed your work today, chopping features out of Forza. So hey, good job, buddy. Good job.
I had to.
How you doing, Jasper?
Pretty good. Been playing Baldur's Gate like I guess most of us here. I'm almost towards the end of the game, but I mean I felt like that Monday, I felt like I was towards the end of the game, and then I found another just 20 hours of content in Baldur's Gate City. So it's like, okay, I guess we'll keep going.
Well, and then you can do a whole new playthrough with a different class character, and it's a whole new experience.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna beat the game, and then I'm gonna load the save before I beat the game, and then go back to some of the other areas that I might have missed some stuff at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't talk about nothing.
What?
The Steel was in mid-sentence and his mic went mute.
Yeah, I don't know what happened right there. I was gonna say, I didn't even mention what I was playing, but I didn't even. But I guess I'll get back to that some other point.
Pong, what's up, Pong?
I'm good, man. It's Friday night. It's amazing. I just had a massive battle in Baldur's Gate 3 and beat it without losing a single person. And in fact, one of the decisions I made that I was going to have to deal with after this battle got taken care of for me during the battle, thanks to the enemies. That's this game. I love Baldur's Gate 3. Absolutely fantastic. I've had a smile ever since I got into the green room with you guys, because it's just no better feeling than when you strategize and it all works out, and even some random things happen. So I just gobble up a bunch of loot right before I hopped in here. I still have to go look at it. I got so many magic items I got to check out, and just having a beautiful time. But it's great to be here with the brothers. Obviously awesome to have Steel jumping in here, and of course 3-bit, who we haven't seen in a while too. So got a lot of topics to get into. Can't wait to hear Fuzzy on the Forza stuff, because this is going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting. So, and we're having a discussion in the DMs a little bit about Forza earlier, and like, you know, it's making me think a little bit back and forth and on some things. So it's some pretty interesting stuff. But man, Pong, I do have a little bit of an issue with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, let's go.
Shoot,
Beef.
let's go. Beef live on the air. Let's do this.
You spread the.
Is it brisket?
You spread your freaking Baldur's Gate 3 crash bug over to my
Not
PC.
Mine. It's everywhere.
We were talking about it on PM in the PM last night. You said you had like 9 crashes in one section. I was like, I've been in the same section. I haven't had any crashes.
Jinxed yourself, sir. You did that. You jinxed it by saying that.
Then I just go to reload the same section that I've been playing, and I've been redoing this same fight, the same one that you just completed.
Yep.
And I didn't tell you this, but I beat him, and I didn't hit the save button yet, and it crashed right away.
Oh God, bro, I was 2 away, and it crashed on me. I had 2 guys left, and it crashed on me.
Y'all are
pissed.
better than me.
So yeah, we got to keep saving. You got to keep saving in Baldur's Gate. Larian does have a lot of work to do with the crash.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I've only had one crash, and it was during a 4-hour battle where
like that.
Like I had this battle going on so many times because like there's NPCs attacking with me, and I'm trying to save the NPCs because like they're part of my team and I want them to keep living. Right. So like I'm trying to save them and they keep dying. So like I got to keep redoing the fucking battle to make sure they stay alive.
Yep.
And then I had one crash when I had a pretty good run and I was like, shit. So, but got past it.
No, it's everybody's experiences are different. Yeah. Everybody's experience has been different, but there is known crash issues, especially in the Underdark.
I did just update my driver as a tip from Steel and Jasper in the DMs earlier. So we'll see if that helps a little bit.
I was already updated. So.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into some of the topics here. Forza Motorsport. We're gonna lead with this.
Ooh.
They revealed the multiplayer today. Now there's some great stuff here. I think there's also a little bit of a question on how the new car progression is going to interfere potentially with the flexibility of the multiplayer, I would say. Like, and at first I was looking at it from my angle because I mainly play single player with Forza, and then I dive in occasionally with the cars that I've been working on. But there are a lot of people that primarily play Forza Motorsport multiplayer, right? And you guys made me think about it, and I think that might be where some of the issues could potentially lie, with the new systems that they have in place. Now, the modes that they talked about today. So there is a open mode where it's like pretty much classic Forza racing online, pretty much, right, Fuzz? Where it's like you pick your class, and everybody has to have the same class car, right?
Yeah, it has to meet a certain like car points level, like A class 800 or B class 700 and stuff like that.
Right. And then there's the spec racing, which is like you're in a series of it's all different races are available at different times of the day and stuff like that. And you'll pick one, but it's like it pretty much chooses for you what everybody's going to be racing in, right? For that, so that way it's fair and balanced completely, right? And that's like for the extreme competition, right? So then there's the open series, which is more the classic Forza multiplayer experience. But still, I think they have the timed events within that as well. I'm not sure how that goes exactly, but then there's custom multiplayer and rivals. So those are the modes that they revealed today. Now, what Steele brought up originally today after he watched the video, and I was kind of giving him some pushback on it, was that, well, with the new car PG type mechanics they have in the game, leveling up your cars, if you're going into the races online, like if you're going into the spec races, you don't really get much choice in what you're racing, right? So at that point, you're leveling up those cars because that's what's chosen for you. Now, in the open races, if you plan on pretty much just playing multiplayer, like you can't just dive into that and expect to do well, because you're not going to have a car that is upgraded. So you're going to pretty much dive in and get your ass kicked because you can't spec it up with money like you could before.
Car points.
Right. So you have to actually spend time to level up the cars to be able to apply the attributes to them. Which they said before in another video that it takes about 3 hours of gameplay to fully max out a car's. So it's not a ton, but if you are going in and trying to hop and choose like different cars, it can be. I would say, after thinking about it, it can be a little bit of an issue for people that primarily play multiplayer. For me, it's not really, so I'm not complaining too hard about this or whatever. And I guess we kind of got to see how it plays out with that. But I don't know. Steele, do you are you like me with the multiplayer stuff? Like I don't really. I played a lot of car clubs back in the day, but that's not really a focal point anymore. That's what I miss. I want them to bring that back.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to bring that back. For me, I fell off of Forza after Motorsport, at least after 5, because it just didn't hit the same for me. But when I was on it extremely heavy, which is why I always iterate, I'm the guy that plays Forza on the hardest difficulty, simulation, everything other than, well, and I say I don't do damage now, but I did do damage then. And I restarted races if I didn't get first place every race that I did. So just to put that in perspective, and maybe only Fuzzy will probably understand what that is and what that feels like, that's an extremely sweaty way to play Forza. So for me, I'm kind of with you where I'm going to get my time in single player anyway, so I'm not going to run into those problems. I'm going to have cars for certain classes, well, for every class, because that's how I like to play. And typically, you're going to be whatever's good at the time, and then my favorite car, whatever the case for every class. But I do get that wild hair, and this is something I used to do a lot back in the day, is I used to get in multiplayer, and we used to do free play, and we would do like our own drift events. We would all just get together, even in a private lobby, and get together and pick a random car, say, hey, we're all going to drive 350Z. Everybody pull out a Fair Lady. And then everybody would have to, if you didn't have one, go customize it, but everybody had money. So you could just get those upgrades that you needed and boom, you're good to go. With the way that I'm understanding how they explained it, and he did kind of clarify it, like, oh, well, if you play with the car, you're going to progress it. But it's just, if you end up in a situation where your friends are online, right? Because this is the only time where I can imagine that it would really be an issue. Your buddies get on, y'all get into a lobby, everybody uses a certain car, y'all doing all A class, but maybe not the same car, it's just A class, and somebody can't get a car that can compete in making making their experience a terrible experience in that scenario, because now, hey, once I tell you as the buddy, hey, you got to go grind 3 hours, that's if you're playing like me, you don't get rewarded unless you win the race. So 3 hours for me, I could have just spent 3 hours trying to beat one race. So there is no progression there. Now I know I'm not the majority, but when I think about it, the majority also doesn't always play single player either. They like to get on with their buddies, have a fun time, drive around, some tracks. That's just kind of that was my thought process about it, because it just seems like it would be a turn off. But I need to see it in action, and I need to see more depth behind it, because we still don't have any information about career either. I'm
curious what the options are for the custom multiplayer modes to maybe offset some of that, because like if playing multiplayer with friends, if we all get in a racing lobby, that would potentially limit our options, right?
It's Forza multiplayer, so good luck getting everyone in there.
Well, they've said that this year they've put more work into multiplayer. They said this at the beginning.
It's gonna be exciting to see
than anything else. Yeah. So
that's what I've been wanting,
right? Yeah. And like, I'm not against at all the grind aspect. I've been asking for that, right, for the single player campaign. Like, I've been a lot of people say, like, Forza is like a car collection game, right? And we're talking to Game Pass Dad in the DMs too, and he brought that up, and it kind of has evolved into that over time, right? Especially the last several entries. For me, that was kind of not what I wanted, though. I wanted more of the ownership experience, right? Of like that, like really working with your car and upgrading it over time and getting attached to it.
That might be what it ends up.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I wanted. Like, so for me, it doesn't really necessarily bother me, but that's because of the style of player that I am. Now, me trying to take my selfishness away from the scenario, I understand that other people might be affected by that decision to have this. So, anyway, what's first off, welcome to the show, Psycho.
Well, hello.
Ooh, what up, Psycho?
How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Ooh. Just fresh off of work, huh?
Yes, sir. So
right on.
Here I am.
How many Series X's did you sell today? We need our sales report.
Nah.
Zero. That's really the answer. Okay. Fuzzy. What? I know you were probably checking out the DMs when we were having the discussions earlier, but like, do you have a thought process on that? Like, and then we'll get into also. I'm sure Pong wants to talk about the modes that were cut. But what do you think about the CarPG elements going into the multiplayer there?
I'm still kind of like at a wait and see aspect of it. Like, the big thing for me is I like the spec racing, particularly like my go-to car is going to be like the MX-5. Like, I've always loved the MX-5 Cup. So having those types of cars where it's like same engine tuning, same transmission, at most you might be able to change the rear end gear or the final gear ratio on the trans, but that's like the epitome of what I like about like Forza and even GT7 for that matter. Now, the thing that's going to probably hurt me in this car RPG aspect is typically I don't tune my hypercars. Like, I'll buy them, collect them, put a special paint scheme on them, set them up a certain way, but I mainly stop at like supercar level is like at the top end of things. Like, I'm fine with Corvettes, Vipers, and like, Ford GTs. That's my top out. I'll collect a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, but that's not my race car. Those are my, sit and look at car, take some pictures with kind of car. Or if I can turn it into like a Group 3 or Group 4 car for like an IMSA simulated race, that's what I'll do. But I mainly stop at that level. So if you guys are running like your Ferraris and your hypercars, I'm probably going to be at a disadvantage with the way this is set up. So I'm going to have to go ahead and take the car. If I already have enough funds to buy the car, now I need to level that car up, even though I'm not really interested in doing that. I'm more interested in doing like the mid-tier and below cars. because that's where it's fun for me, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the best racer. Anything where you start getting into the hypercar speed level, that's
Yeah,
So
S2 and X class is stupid.
Because I don't really care about Forza or racing games in general, but is the problem that someone can play the game and have a better car because they put more time in that car than you, and then like you'll be at a disadvantage? Is that the problem?
It would be more for me. It'd be more so like, okay, let's say we all get together as buddies, and everybody else wants to do this kind of race, but you don't have a car that's leveled up. And where beforehand it was easy because you would just go and quickly download
if you had the funds for it,
and you would
you
would just buy it, and it would automatically upgrade your car and everything to that. And it was just like a button press. But now you can't, because you would have to go and put in the hours to actually be able to unlock those points for the car. So that's the main difference there. And I don't know, like I said, the custom multiplayer I think is where it affects the most, but there's also a limitation on the main two modes about, you can't really just dive into the open races without leveling up your car beforehand.
Can you not
and
in
then
private match just select whatever you want, like as your settings?
Yeah, but
like
the open races are going to be different because I think they're going to be regulated to whatever Forza is set up, right? Where if you're doing a private, of course, you have more fine tuning of exactly what you're going to get, but you can still run into a situation like, what if you don't play like that all the time, and you get the random hair 6 months down the road, your buddy's been like, hey, you checked out Forza yet? You haven't checked it out, but maybe you played in the beginning, had to stop. Because you didn't play with certain cars, now you're removed from that experience and can't play with your guys because of these cars. Or again, we as gamers can always find a different way.
That problem is expanded upon the more people you have in your lobby too. Like imagine it like we're all trying to come up with a thing, and it's like it's always somebody's like, oh, I don't have one of those leveled up.
It's like not having a map packs back in the day.
Automatically finishing last before you even make a decision before you start, right?
Yeah.
But now, I'm wondering if there is, like I said, there could be a setting to be able to like auto balance the cars. Potentially,
could be.
Yeah, there could be, and that would be the easiest solution, right? But even between the other two modes, like you don't have a lot of.
Well, I know in like Forza Horizon, they give you like a default car, like with like they'll give you like if you ever do an A race, they'll give you like an A car.
That default car is terrible.
Yeah, I know,
but usually you're renting those cars, and then the drawback is you're not gaining the experience, or at least that's what Lounge Toy or Chris Hizaki was saying. You're not going to get any of the experience or rewards from that. So the money that you would win, like let's say you actually find a way to win the race with that basically stock aspect car, you're not getting winnings, you're not getting experience time. So it's just like I guess if you're not serious about it, it's fine. But if you're looking to eventually expand your garage, it puts you at a disadvantage both time wise and experience wise and money wise for using that default car that they allow you to rent and stuff like that. So it's I guess we'll find out more when we have it in hand, but it definitely seems like it's a step kind of in the right direction on the spec aspect of things, but for open races, it almost seems like a step back. And it's almost like there needs to be a split. Like, okay, if you're doing open, you can take your car, and if you have cash from your winnings and whatnot, go ahead and spec the car the way you want. Instead of having to worry about downloading the tune, you can go ahead and tune it yourself right before then, practice with it and do all that stuff, and then, finish that race. But that's like the huge question mark. And he took the time to at least break down some of it, but it feels like where a lot of concern is still unaddressed with the open aspect. Like,
I
think
that you could be overblowing the open aspect a little bit, because like, let's use like Call of Duty, for example. Like you can have a noob come in there and they can have like the gun leveled up all the way, but then you can have just like someone like me come in there and have the same gun but have no levels on it. I could still beat them. Like just because they have the better like stats on the car,
you can beat somebody with a slower car than with the fast car if they're a shitty racer.
But in Forza, it's so unlikely. There's such a vast difference. That's like you can shoot a nuke every time that you spawn, and I can't do anything about it.
The bullets still do about the same amount of damage in Call of Duty, right? The car is inherently faster if it's spec'd up, right? Like it's not just about the personal tuning; it's about the actual power behind the car. a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know, so.
A good example would be, let's say we're all using Mustangs. I'm using a 2010 Cobra that's supercharged, right? Or not a Cobra, but like a Shelby the GT 500 type of deal. It's supercharged. You're stuck with the regular Mustang GT. Unless I'm being a complete knucklehead where I don't have traction control on, or I don't know how to control the rear tires, there is no way you're catching me in a stock Mustang. So if you rented that stock Mustang from the game, it's unrealistically impossible to beat that GT 500. But once again, I could be a complete knucklehead, laying on the gas in the turn, spin it out every turn, and kind of
Some
feather
people
it
don't
through the
break
turns
into
and make
corners.
it. But that's
they're also penalizing you more in this game. So that's the other thing that I like a lot, because this game is literally being more competitive in all the right ways. And it's not like necessarily I'm like, oh, I'm upset that this is going to be this. It's just, it's weird the way that it's set up, and it sounds like it could be inherently and unnecessarily inconvenient for certain players, because it's not going to be us problem, right? So I'm just speaking on it overall.
But would they do a cap, like do naturally aspirated vehicles versus having a blower or a charger?
You can set that in the custom multiplayer, he said.
Yeah. But I'm saying in the open or whatever the open races that they're talking about.
Well,
they have regular circuit races too. So
it's just going to depend on what's there. You know, they're going to say they're going to rotate the like open races to like per class, like weekly. So like 1 week it'll be like B class, right? And then the next week it'll be like that. So who knows? Eventually they could have like, B muscle car like week. You know what I mean? Something like that. So who knows exactly? But in the open road, in the open racing, it's very limited with the class for that week. So you're limited to picking those cars for open. And then also in the spec, you're limited to what they have available at the time. So you have to play single player and level up your car if you want to be competitive in the multiplayer online. You can't just focus on multiplayer first, right? And
kind of like MMOs and things like that. So
but you still
still
gotta hope that the car that you've spent time with is what's available there for the open that week. If you want to do open,
that's the bad part. Yeah, or you'll never be able to play that mode.
Like what if
so they're only letting you use certain cars that week for that?
Yeah, for certain races. It's just, again, it just depends on how they end up playing it out. And again, it's not like a super big deal to me, because I'm sure it's going to end up being fine. Turn 10 hasn't missed yet, and I don't have a reason to doubt them. But it's just, I don't know. For me, it just was explained in a way that sounds weird.
I got to make a comment on Chris. Is Chris Hayazaki, right? Now, I think the guy's great. He's like very informative and stuff, but he's not necessarily the best presenter of information on these Forza monthlies. And that's just like personal feedback on like maybe sometimes like there doesn't seem like a level of excitement for me as a viewer watching this, and the information that's coming away is like the negative is going to stand out more than sometimes in the positive can, because everything's such an even tone. But there was a lot of good stuff here, like
a
lot of great stuff for Forza. I mean, a lot of the things are like dream come true things.
Well, I mean, people are always going to blow up the negatives on Twitter.
No,
like,
but it came out pretty quick after this thing. So
did they say that let's say if you're in, let's say, B class cars, like whatever you unlock for your car, that it's unlocked for all the B class cars? So no matter what, if it's like
it's
BMW,
per car.
Per car.
Yeah, that's the thing that makes it that's the why I'm bringing it up, because it's literally
I
per
love
car.
that for the single player. I love
me too,
player,
but I would rather it be manufacturer based. Hey, if you drove this Ferrari, every Ferrari that you use from now on, because you've leveled this one up. You have
to Jasper's point about the Call of Duty, it's kind of like how they do like upgrading your gun. The more you play with it, the more points you get with it. You can apply upgrades to it and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's similar in a way to how they approach that. The difference is that it makes your car faster, where Call of Duty doesn't make the bullets more powerful, right? Like, so it's like these actually have a difference level of effect with multiplayer than I think Call of Duty does. Because you can go in as a good player with basic ass gun and just shred everybody. You know what I mean? If you're good, but like somebody that has a better car than you is just inherently has a better car than you. There's nothing you can do about that.
I think the big thing is it's going to, in a weird way, it's going to, I won't say force, but it will encourage you to try more brands or try more classes of cars.
Maybe that's what it's about.
Yeah, because like I'm not normally the hot hatch guy. I've gotten into it more recently, but I can see that would be a class where, okay, if I'm not normally, the hot hatch guy, I'm more the muscle guy or whatever. Now I need to at least figure out which one of those cars within that grouping that I'm going to try to level up to at least have that ready when they're only doing the hot hatch, race, or make sure I have like a saloon that I'm comfortable with and stuff like that when I'm not normally about the 4-door cars.
You just have your main one car for each category, essentially.
Yeah, one car for each category and probably one per manufacturer. So you're going to almost have to double up in each category or triple up depending, because they might even do a race where it's like only cars from Germany. So you have to have either your BMW, Mercedes, or
let's only do cars from 1985 from
they
Germany.
Do that, though.
Yeah,
they do that though.
Yeah, they do 80s only or 90s only.
I love how Jasper has no understanding of how Forza works.
They try to make things where it's interesting in these different groups and stuff like that, but it's frustrating for me only because like the first thing I'm going to focus on are Corvettes and Camaros. That'll be first, and then Mustangs will probably be next, and then Challengers and Vipers. Just the big three is what I'm going to hit up first. Then it's going to be the old school favorites like Supras, GTRs, and things along those lines, and then I'll work towards like Civics. That'll be like the underestimated cars. So I'll focus on a Civic build or a Prelude build or something along those lines where I have a car that punches above its normal class line, and then I'm going to have my go-tos for my spec races. So I'm going to have basically every MX-5 that they've ever made, and then I'll also do something along the lines of like have like a GT86 or a BRZ that's tuned for like spec racing and things like that. So it's going to be a little tricky, I guess, to some extent, to try to make sure you have a couple of cars that can kind of fit multiple race leagues and daily races and stuff like that, or weekly races. But I'm hoping it works out where it's not like, oh, I got to hurry up and level this car up, or I'm going to definitely have to do a rental, and that's going to probably put me at the back of the pack. And now I'm going to have to like try my best not to, get spun out or shunt or run off the track with this, basic car setup and things. But that's not my biggest worry with it, but like it it'll be something for us to keep an eye on when it drops. But there's other things that I'm a little more frustrated with, and we'll probably get into that a little bit.
Yeah, later. We'll make that a second little section of the conversation. So Pong, we're talking in the green room before about another announcement they made, which was that there is not going to be a couple modes. Selfishly, I don't give a shit about any of them personally. However, it's just me, maybe, and but regardless, does that matter? If I care about it or not. But split screen is not available at launch.
Goddamn series.
Oh no, not split screen.
Let's see. There's also
no spectator mode.
Yeah, no spectator mode at launch. And the other one was no
AI multiplayer.
No AI
on feature races, not all races.
So what does that mean?
It said featured. So whatever featured race that they're having, like it's some kind of like event that this week or whatever, we're having blah blah blah. So I guess that's not there, but other multiplayer races is possibly there.
It didn't sound like that. It sounds like all multiplayer, no
That's
AI field fill, all multiplayer, no spectate.
Right. I just took what the wording was featured.
So ultimately for me, like, I don't really care, about those, but Pong, another game though from Xbox that they have cut legacy features is what they call them before before launch and saying that they will be released later. It happened.
Laylo.
It happened with Redfall with the 60 frames, right? It happened with Forza with this. I say Redfall is 60 frames, way bigger deal, but happened with Forza now with this. It happened to Halo before. Infamously, I was like, don't delay it. You know, turned out maybe if it had an extra year, it'd been worth it.
I mean, the Halo just now started getting good, apparently. So
it's supposed, yeah. I mean, right now they hit the content milestone. Like they're on it. They're on it now, bro. Like I did play a match earlier today because Baldur's Gate crashed, and I was like, oh, okay.
Short Halo segment before Pong answers this thing. Like I feel like the Halo stuff though was kind of a letdown because they remade like Zanzibar and stuff. The wheel doesn't spin. You can't interact with the bridge. They remade a Halo 2 map. You can't like shoot down the spikes. Like all the interactable stuff from those maps that made it memorable, you just can't do. So it's just like a flat version of the map. But anyway,
yeah, fair enough. Dredge is the one I played, which is it was great. Pong, what's your take on the cut features? Is it a big deal or no?
Well, this is more on top of what they already told us, right? With no drag racing, no drifting.
Yeah.
So this list of
missing
not going to be there is growing, which.
And there's questions on the ray tracing thing still right now.
Bro,
but like
that's a whole other conversation.
I don't know what's going on with that. But like they've said it during past trailers, I remember. But everybody's saying like they're not talking about it at all for some reason. So I don't know. Like do I really care about that either? Personally, no. But still, they use it to sell and market the game, right? So, and it seems superior.
Listen, 6 years of development, brand new engine. Of course, again, where I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, they've had 6 years on the same tech. They haven't. They upgraded the entire engine. Obviously, the level of detail with the cars on the track, with the the whole tire system that they went through, the suspension system that they've gone through. Again, all that stuff obviously was highly complex and a massive upgrade compared to previous Forza. So Turn 10, again, one of the best devs out there in the world. The deal is, and like you, Mav, I'm more of a single player guy. I don't do hardly any multiplayer racing. I just enjoy, playing the single player, playing against the AI and that kind of stuff. So a lot of these things don't bother me too much. But if I take a step back, again, outside of my own personal opinions, do we, and again, this isn't strictly Forza, this isn't strictly Turn 10 as a developer, this isn't strictly Microsoft, Xbox as a publisher, this is industry wide. We're seeing more and more games come out that are feature incomplete. And the question is, do we accept it? I mean, again, most gamers, not going to matter. We're going to hop into Forza day one. It's on Game Pass. Who cares? Jump in, gonna have a great time. I am too, without a doubt. The question is, why is this happening? And obviously, when this is Xbox Ultimate, so Xbox specific. Why have we seen so much of this? And we've been through all the problems, we've been through all the talk, we've been through all the speculation about what possibly is going behind the scenes. I'm just shocked at Turn 10's, coming out and having this many things not being their day one. Especially after, again, 6 years and a delay, in there on top of it. I'm just really shocked that they're dropping this game. Does Xbox need this game this fall? Or this fall, winter, whatever you want to call it? Do they actually need this game, or could they have pushed it till spring of next year to make sure that everything was in there? And again, Mav, you brought up another kind of what seemingly is now a question mark, ray tracing. Colt's out here saying, I expect a 30 frames ray tracing mode. Right. Well, that's not... Again, Colt said that, and everybody popped, and he claimed that they've never claimed that there was going to be 60 frames ray tracing at the same time. Well, everybody brought up the Phil clip. Phil said it directly. So I just have a hard time. It's very hard because I'm not going to stop playing games. Like I said, had I not gotten my PC, I would have played Starfield at 30 frames, even though I disagree with them not having performance mode in there. So I'm not going to stop playing games. Most people aren't going to stop playing games. But the question is, at what point do we get back to making sure that games that come out, even if it does mean an extended period of time, 7 years, whatever the case may be, when are we going to get back to a point in time where the games come out and they are exactly as promised or as close to as promised as possible within reason? Things happen during dev cycles. We all know this. Nobody's going that route. But when are we going to get back to companies saying, no, we're not going to put this out? Or are we long past that point? And now we're at the point where the publishers, no matter even if it's first party or third party, it doesn't matter who it is, are saying across the board, for the most part, we'll just fix the game when it comes out, right? We're just going to get this game out the door and we'll fix it as we go. And have us as gamers come to the point where we're just kind of expecting it in a lot of ways. Like, hey, well, this is a games as a service. We've all brought this up when it comes to Forza Motorsport. They're leaning heavily into the games as a service. This seems to be more of a platform than it used to be a standalone game. And so if that's the franchise going forward, then they're always going to be adding things. They're always going to be changing things, obviously, as the years go by. So is this just one more thing to add to the list? Like, oh, well, this is, hey, they're getting the game out the door. They'll continue to add.
They wouldn't, you wouldn't think they would have to address it at like this though. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. That's right. That's kind of the dichotomy here, right, man? Because they kind of act like, well, they act like, hey, we know a lot of you guys were expecting these features here, right? We know a lot of you guys were expecting these game modes here. But the case is, well, we're just not going to get them out at launch, but we'll have them down the road. So they put onus on it too. They understand internally that this is an issue. So then if that's the case, then why is the decision made to put out the game prior to it being ready or fully feature complete? Well, then that's what I was saying. Then we go back to, well, is it the higher ups that are saying, get it out the door? Because it's been in development for a long time. We need it in Game Pass. And again, we're specifically talking about Xbox here. This is not an Xbox only problem, obviously. It's industry wide. But for specifically Xbox, are they saying internally, it's been 6 years, we need to get this game out the door. We need to add this game to our lineup for Game Pass. Obviously, that's a big selling point to say we've got Starfield, we've got Forza in there this year, 2023. Is that being forced upon, the game itself and just having it come out to have it come out? And I think that until gamers, or until gamers stand up enough and say enough about it, they'll just do this. Or until it affects the sales or until it affects the popularity of games, like we've seen with Halo Infinite, they will continue to do this. And it's kind of just shocking to me that on Xbox's side, we went through the Halo Infinite thing, that we went through the Redfall thing, two kind of different scenarios, but both kind of wind up in the same spot. Halo Infinite's definitely having a resurgence. They continue to work on it. Redfall, we still don't have a 60 frames mode. But the question is, why weren't lessons learned? Or do they care about the lessons? Right? And I think that's a fair question to ask.
I think it's just them balancing the risk reward of delay it another year and put split screen in that's 5% is going to play. And then
I'll say also,
it's not just split screen. Though.
It's not just in comparison though, just for the sake of the conversation, the modes that are missing from Forza Motorsport are nowhere near as large and as important to the community as the modes that were missing from Halo Infinite. Like with Forge and split screen co-op with Halo is like on another level with that aspects, right?
I agree. I just think that overall though, I just think that you're just giving the impression or just building the expectation, which isn't a good expectation, that many of your games are going to come out not finished, right? Even if they're great, even if what's there is fantastic, it's still just the idea
maybe
behind
they just need
it.
to shut their fucking mouth, because if they didn't say we're
that's
not
the way you market,
Jasper, that's the other thing, and we've talked about this too. Do we go back to the old days? I am all for it. Do not talk about your game. Do not show your game to me until you are absolutely 100% sure that game's ready to go. What's going to be in it? If that means 2 months prior to launch, if that means 30 days prior to launch, Fine. That's the way we used to find out about a lot of games. A lot of games we didn't even know until they were in the store, and we walked in the store and it was like there. Yes.
And if it wasn't there, then we were just been like, oh, I guess they forgo split screen.
Correct.
This time. That's
Well,
fine.
Correct.
That was my
had they
point
said
about Baldur's
nothing.
Gate 3. If nobody
Yes.
ever know that split screen mode was a thing, nobody
Yep.
would even expect that mode to be in the game because
Right.
most people don't care about
Most
it.
people
Like,
didn't even remember that Forza had split screen. How many people? Like there were so many people on
I
Twitter
didn't
today
even-
that were
yeah,
like,
I
"What
didn't even know
was
that.
this real?" Yeah, this was real, but nobody even cared. That's the thing. Stop. I guess
that's
that would be
part
the
of
ultimate.
marketing and messaging.
Stop
Yes.
fucking
Yeah.
saying cut features before the game's even out.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah.
Correct. Stop promising things up front.
I have a question.
I know we all demand to hear the technical aspects, and we all as now gaming is so large and there's such a huge community out here of knowledgeable gamers that demand has increased in volume. That doesn't mean you have to do that. And if it gets you in more trouble, more hot water, more times than not, then just stop doing it. Again, people will cry. People will be like, but tell us about what's going to be in the game. Tell us how many frames. Tell us the rest. Who cares? Who cares? Again, you'd rather have that going on than coming out and making a bunch of promises years in advance and then showing up at launch time and saying, yeah, well, just didn't quite happen. So we'll get those later.
I got a question for Fuzz here too about this because to this point, what if they just never said anything about those legacy features that are going to be missing, right? Would anybody have ever said anything about it? Like, how many people were like talking about this? Because you're more in touch with the Forza community than any of us. Like, even though I love it and I play the shit out of Forza, like you're on another level with this stuff, right? So thousands and thousands of hours.
From the forum standpoint, I think it would have been a blip on the radar, especially the split screen. Like, I'll be honest with you, I tried it on 7. It is terrible. And it's the same thing even with GT7. Nobody really worries about it. Now, they always have this ongoing, it breaks the experience for player 2 because, everything is fixed a certain way on GT7. But like when it was on like Forza Motorsport 7, I tried it because of my sons before they got their own Xbox, and it was like the worst experience ever. Like if it was drag racing, I guess it would be fine, but the splitting of the screen and having it where you have this narrow width and you're going to have hairpin turns coming up,
terrible.
and you're only at that point it's just 2 players on the track. There's no AI. Even though there's no AI for a distraction, it's still terrible. And they could have gotten away with not saying anything on it. Now, the AI on track for like online races, it's something that certain sim racing games outside of console, just PC, strictly PC, will have it where you can have AI on track. And it's a good experience. It's more immersed because like, let's say it's just all of us here that want to do a race. If it's just, us on the track, I mean, it's still fun, but having it where we may have to navigate through the AI,
it makes
maybe
even
some of
better,
the AI qualify higher up than we do, and we're going to have to pass them and pass each other. That makes more of like a more realistic race to me, especially with all the upgrades they did to the AI. So that I'm kind of disappointed in, but it's not the end of the world.
I don't know if this is any better, but like if they would have just stayed quiet on it and then like someone would have complained eventually, but like there's no AI in multiplayer, this is dumb, to be like, we'll work on it, we'll add it in season 2 or whatever. Like they could have just lied, but it's not necessarily better, but like they could have just lied and no one would have gave a shit, and then it would have been an additive feature.
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have it in 7, so it would have probably, like you said,
that's business though.
That's
That's what's crazy about it though. That is typical business. You are Microsoft and have these types of issues. Why? I don't get that, because literally it's really not that big of a deal. Like Jasper mentioned earlier, it's not, but there are little things like Fuzzy's mentioning that are more of a deal that probably should be talked about and aren't, because it's split screen, nobody plays it, it's always been bad, but who cares, it's not there. Now it's a narrative. I already heard it not that long ago. There's a great little podcast that everybody can go hang out in. They were saying the same thing. It's another sign of Xbox's incapacity to do anything. Why should we have faith in Activision and Blizzard if they can't even get Turn 10, quote unquote, their best studio to be feature complete when the game releases? This is the second game, first party IP that has happened to. Well,
So
third.
I think
I
part of it's message because I think there's a lot of stuff that gets like left out of other games too, but they just don't get mentioned.
Yeah, they
right?
don't tell you.
They just don't tell you. Like, and here's the thing, like, so for a comparison's sake, right? Okay, we had co-op delayed out of Halo, right? It was a huge deal, but Halo has such a legacy that it's an expectation. They have to address it, right? But a game, new IP comes out on PlayStation, like Ghost of Tsushima, right? Everybody loves it. Oh, only 2 or 3 months later, this huge multiplayer co-op mode comes out of the blue that nobody expected. Wow, and it's free. Oh my God. To me, that smells like what probably was originally supposed to be part of the game, and they just updated it for free later. So all of a sudden, it's like, wow, look at this cool free shit we're getting, guys. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas as opposed to the opposite, it's like, all right, we have to address this. It's not going to be here at launch, and then we're going to give it to you later for free. And it's like, what? It's feature incomplete? This is horseshit. So, like, part of it's messaging, and they, like, PlayStation is, like, masters at this kind of shit, dude. I mean, they do this stuff all the time. Xbox
lying.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the lie.
I'm not gonna start on that.
I mean, they pull twists. You can look at how they mind shifted and mind fucked everybody to think they were getting Spider-Man remastered for free when they got Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? They charged you $70 for that. And you were pretty much paying for like Spider-Man plus the expansion pack. That's what it was. I had one of my first videos back at when I started making videos was trying to explain this to people. Like, they're basically selling you Spider-Man Definitive Edition with the expansion. That's what they did because they included the first game remastered, enhanced with the extra content. That was like what I felt like was the complete package all along, which, because we know originally Miles Morales was supposed to be downloadable content for Spider-Man. So they twisted it on there to make it seem like something else. And they're good at that kind of stuff, right? But like Xbox is not good at the messaging with these kind of things.
I mean, back in the day, they used to sell you that content as fucking map packs. It'd be like cut content that didn't make it at launch. It'd be like, like 3 months later, it's a map pack.
It's a whole nother disc. You got to download stuff.
It's funny, and this is why like it's more of a conversation about like, I think part of it is how much do we care about these modes. Like for most of us, none of us do, right? But it's creating noise on social media. Right, it's creating noise about the game.
It's creating negative.
It's creating negative, right? So it's like, why have this energy out there? So either if it is that important, if it was planned or whatever, either delay the game or just don't even fucking mention it so nobody has a chance to talk about it because nobody was going to talk about it in the first place. Exactly. Let's get a couple super chats. Ray Oid hit us with a $10 earlier. Said hit that like button. Appreciate you, Ray Oid. Alvin with $5 says Pong always sounds like Colonel John Hannibal Smith from the A-Team discussing his Baldur's Gate 3 victories. LOL. Alvin
special
$5 says that PS5 Slim is thicker than my truck's tires, thicker than my guitar calluses, thicker than my job schedule. Damn, that's a thick ass boy. Yeah, it just looked like the same thing.
It's more of a it's short. It's not gonna be slim.
5 centimeters shorter.
Yeah, so that's 2
5
inches.
centimeters.
That's 2 inches.
Hey, you tell her that.
Slim.
You better watch out.
That's only 2 inches. Alvin with $2 says Ragnarok got a new game plus this spring. No one cared. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they didn't release with the game.
Yeah.
Honestly, to kind of bring this around, and Fuzzy, you can speak on this more too, because you're a GT7 guy and you put so many hours into it. But look how GT7 didn't say anything about the features that were going to be there day one. Exactly. And the reviewers ignored it. Right. The reviewers completely ignored it.
No,
and didn't even talk about it.
They were supposed to be there.
Right. Yeah. And it didn't happen until after it launched, right, Fuzz? I mean, it's like crazy.
Like you couldn't sell cars at launch, and they had talked about that as being an included feature,
right?
But how are you going to have that in your advertising material when it's not available at launch? Like, but it's a weird problem. Like, I agree with Jasper. They probably shouldn't have just said anything, because most people didn't bother with the split screen on Motorsport 7. They have the metrics. They know that like 15 people in here and 10 people over in this country, those are the only people that did that. Or they played it for an hour and they never touched it again. Why? Because it was crap. So they should have just said nothing.
Yeah,
and
instead
nobody
they actually included it
wiser.
with today's big, like, awesome stuff that they had to talk about the multiplayer, and it kind of sucks the energy out, because it's like, hi, I'm here to tell you a bunch of things right now that are going to disappoint the Forza community, right? In like in a presentation kind of way. And like, if you do that, just do it like as like an asterisk on the bottom of a blog post or something like that. Like just put like not available at launch or whatever, and the little asterisk thing. Like, don't have like this. And this is what I was talking about with Chris earlier. Like, I appreciate transparency, but at the same time, it's bringing too much of a light to something that I feel like is like not really that big of a deal. But like, if you're making it that
Not
big of
needed.
a deal, like what the conversation I was having with Pong, like if you're making it that big of a deal, it makes it seem like you should like not release the game. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to do better with the messaging.
It's like you appreciate the transparency, but at the same time, you got to realize, like, don't be a fucking dumbass and tell us negative stuff that's going to blow up on Twitter.
Right? No, yeah, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Like with marketing and messaging, and like it kind of like, because like Idle Sloth on Twitter Day, like he's had a couple posts, right? And I'm curious which one has more attention. Is it the post that has all the multiplayer details, or is it the post that has the missing features?
Missing features.
Right, exactly. Right. So the multiplayer details are awesome.
They're
like
dope.
we brought, we brought up like
excited.
one concern with it. It's not like doom and gloom or anything like that. We just have one concern over potentially how it's going to work.
It's going to work.
Yeah, because it might change the way we're able to play with each other. Right. But
Pause.
2 inches, you're safe. It's okay. But the
ground.
From the ground. But the rest of it, like, fucking awesome stuff. And like the way that they're implementing the race regulation stuff, the way they're doing this blown out mode that's going to change and evolve over time. It's going to constantly be different every time you go in. That's also a plus and a positive, something to look forward to and check out. Like, what races are going to be there today? Oh, I'm going to want to check this one out. And then you go back the next day and Pong's on
They're
mute.
trying new things, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's great, right? Again, you don't want devs just to stick with stale formulas per se. You don't want them to reinvent the wheel, right? But if they've got an idea that they want to try in a brand new version of a game that's, had X amount of iterations prior to this, right? 7 iterations, right? Prior to this. And they want to try something new on top of the technical stuff that they're bringing in, which is fantastic, obviously in the sim racer. But if they want to lean into this car PG, I don't think any of us have a problem with that. Try it, do it, go for it. Like, that's great. It's going to bring a fresh look. We might have questions about how it's all going to work, right? We might be like, well, I'm so used to the old way. Like, how is this all going to play out? Well, we'll find out when we get our hands on it. And the great news nowadays is they can adjust. They can fix things as we go. Like, that's the other side of the equation when we talk about where we're at with games. If something's not working out as they planned or as they thought it would, they can go make adjustments to the game on the fly and fix it. But I like the fact that Turn 10 is trying new things. And like you said, Mav, like the points you were just making, all the other stuff today was such a positive, just, you don't need to say anything about the other stuff. Just keep it rolling. Just keep rolling right through. Look at all this stuff we got going on. We're really excited about this is how this is going to play out. We think this is going to be a great feature for people. People are going to be excited about. Just roll with that.
Yeah, especially because I don't think they ever announced those features for this game.
No, I mean, you could say people assume they're going to be there because they're legacy, but again,
assumption makes it like they could be like, we just didn't do it.
How many fuzzies are out there, right? How many fuzzies are actually going to know the entire list of features in a Forza game? Very few, even us.
This is such a big upgrade from the previous game. It's like you would expect some stuff to be different,
and that's honestly why they said that the features are missing, because it's such a graphical powerhouse.
Well, actually, guys, I was told that the game didn't look great. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, screw those guys. This
is somebody who was a software developer. They know what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
3-bit. Why are you trashing Forza?
I think 3-bit forgot how to podcast. I don't think we've heard from him since.
I know we haven't. He's doing something.
He fell
listening.
He fell asleep.
He might be on the NDA on this one.
No, he couldn't talk.
No, because he was involved in all this. I said it from the
I
beginning,
spilled
so he
coffee
can't say it.
on the machine, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. They wanted him to go work for Forza, but he said, "No, I'm not doing that." I don't
That's
like that
right. They needed another animator.
Yeah, they needed more help, and 3-bit turned him down.
No, I mean,
It's all
I
3-bit's
kind of
Could
I
add
kind
split
of agree
screen.
with everybody here on different things, but I think I mean, I said it with Halo Infinite where I got some backlash, and I said it with Battlefield to get some little bit backlash. I mean, I'm always in the camp if your game is missing features. I have this with like every game. It doesn't matter what it is. If your game is missing features, even if it doesn't matter to you, or doesn't affect you, like some people point out with like Halo Infinite, like I don't really care about split screen, I don't really care about these modes. To me, if I know about it and it's been in there before, and it's going to be in the game, I'm always going to be in the team full experience on day one. This is just coming from a person who's worked with these people, and I probably will always have this opinion no matter the game. Like, just because I can't trust developers to not want to like, oh, we'll just release it later, like, and then it comes like 2 years later, right? You don't really know with modern game development when these features are going to eventually come, especially if you really care about that said feature. Like Halo Infinite, like it's like Jasper said, is just now getting to a place where people are accepting it. And what is it, like almost 2 years now?
Yep.
Yeah, 2 years later.
So I'm like, regardless, I understand like the messaging side of it, where you are essentially just like, yeah, if you don't say anything, but like internally, if fans know about it and it's expected that it should be in the game, then I don't know. I'm always in the camp, like when I boot up the game, I want like a complete experience. I mean, even Baldur's Gate kind of has a good sort of
it's just Xbox is bad about it, because like you can even look back in the 360 generation with GTA 5, they fucking launched online a month later because they wanted people to experience a single player. No, it's because it was fucking delayed, and then fucking Heist didn't come out to 2 years later. So it's like, it's just GTA market. It's fucking better towards the consumers instead of just being, we need to, we can't put it out in the game yet.
And there's good ways to market it. Like I feel like Xbox is probably in the camp of not doing it the best in terms of how they market, like in a presentation, like, hey, thanks for the 30,000 people in here. Thanks for coming to the live stream. Let me tell all of you 30,000 people all the stuff that's not going to be in the game. So yes, that that probably could be told better. For sure, I completely agree with you guys there. But yeah, I'm just always going to be in the camp of like, when I boot up the game, I just want to feel like I'm getting my money's worth. It's not the Game Pass fodder that people keep saying, like, look, you have Game Pass as a service, and that means games are going to come out incomplete. And we've been saying like, I don't think that's how it's going to work or something. But hey, lately we've been getting some games where it hasn't been up to that standard. So I'm always going to be in the camp. I love Game Pass, right? I think it's the best service out there. This year has probably been the best ever, maybe, in terms of games that are coming out. There's a lot to play this year. It's pretty overwhelming. So nothing to that. It's always just about like, hey, market your game a certain way, and also it's just modern day game development. Unfortunately, I just think a lot of the difference between the last generation and this one is the technology to improve your game after it's come out. You couldn't improve a cartridge game after, that was the game when you gave it to people. So it's unfortunate, but I think when the game does come out, I'm still gonna love it and have a good time with it regardless. But it's like weird, right? Because those features, like the split screen, I forgot who was saying it, but like maybe 5 people will play the split screen features and stuff, but you can't really always discount features that have been in game a while and people who do care about it. Like for
Microsoft's about to discount the entire UK cloud service, so they can discount 5 people.
But for example, like there's some features in Halo I really cared about, and some people on this panel probably cared less about, right? So there are people out there
still
who
haven't
really
played it co-op, I don't think.
Yeah. So that's just me. I'm always in the camp is like, hey, try to internally try to release the game complete, and you will be rewarded by the news outlets, by fans out there. We've seen how many people are praising Baldur's Gate just for being like a feature complete experience. Yes, it'll have some bugs and crashes, but you play that game, you know you're getting your money's worth. You boot up the game like, dang, I'm playing this for hours, there's so much to do. That's how people want to feel when they boot up new games. So
yeah, and to people that think we're just like bringing this up to bring it up, like Forza, they brought it up today. Like they made a point like during their showcase to specifically make sure they announce to the world that these features aren't in the game.
It was funny because he said to him, he's like, wait, I got one more that's not going to be in the game. He's like, pause the interview. He's like, no, I got one more I got to tell you about. It's not going to be in the game.
So it's like, that's our point. It's not like about even necessarily like, I get what you're saying, 3-bit. Like I would like what I said to Pong, in comparison of the features that are missing compared to Halo, it's like a completely different animal here. Like on another, I mean, this is like 3 tiny things compared to
and again, I agree.
Expectation.
I agree.
So in that regard, yes, but do I still say developers should release their games content complete? Yes, but we wouldn't even known that this was content incomplete unless they made it a point of their show today to tell us, right? So the rest of the show though had so many good things. So Angry Hippie $5 super chat says Xbox is in a position where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. I prefer the former. That's honestly very true as well, you know. But sometimes it's their own doing that causes these conversations.
But then you get conversations like, hey, we remove these features, and then they're kind of quiet on like the ray tracing front, which they have said.
And I don't know what to make of that still. That's why I'm not like freaking out about it, because like I remember last year's E3, not this one, but the year before, didn't the trailer they said like again like on track ray tracing
on track
in the trailer last year's. So I
think they just need to be more quiet on it, because like if you look at like Halo 2, that's considered the greatest Halo game, and half the campaign was cut, but we didn't know about that till fucking 5 years later. So like
right,
the greatest fucking Halo game ever is like half complete.
Yeah, that's true. But we all made a big deal about Halo Infinite's content being cut before it was released. And I'm not talking about the other modes. I'm talking about the campaign content that was supposed to be cut out, because it was like over half of the campaign as well was cut after what's his name?
Pretty much entire Halo 3.
Joseph
Staten, yes, after he joined the team or whatever. But we'll turn this around a little bit here. Fuzzy, how much better is this going to be than Gran Turismo 7? Because I know it's what the chat wants.
Oh yeah. Well, the first thing is, I still think they're going to do the ray tracing at 60 frames. It may not be native 4K. Like I think it'll wind up being upscale, which that's to be understood. I expect at least 1080 or 1080, 60 frames ray tracing on track, or dynamic resolution somewhere floating between 1200 and probably upwards of 1600 or 1800. 60 frames and ray tracing. And it may not be all the bells and whistles as far as ray tracing, but it'll be enough that it will, stun the eyes and hopefully not be too much of a distraction while racing. One big thing that they barely touched on is that the track limits have been adjusted. So if for anybody that's played Forza Motorsport 7, if you have it where the track limits are visible, whether it's cones or that ribbon, there were some times where the line didn't seem like it made sense. Like if you ever put your tires on like the rumble strips, you would get penalized, or it would be considered a dirty lap. And if they're making it so it's more realistic, where you're supposed to use up more of the track to continue your momentum coming out of the turn, that should have been the main thing that they focused on, not the stuff that they aren't going to put in the game. They should have been like, look, we know we messed up before, because he even said like we had to put tires and other barriers up so you wouldn't, cut track or short track and stuff like that. But now the way the regulations are set, yeah, that guy that short tracks because the tires aren't there, he's going to get penalized. He may get docked, 6 seconds or a lap, or stop and go or something to that effect. But for the people that were going through the S turns and hitting the rumble strips to kind of keep their car's momentum, they used to get penalized or lose a second or two because of that. Now it's like you're actually driving where you want to use those rumble strips coming out of the turn or cutting the apex and things like that. So that should have been what they spent more time showing, or showing like the practice and qualifying. Like you get like a mulligan lap, I guess he was saying, like a skip lap.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be a time where you probably pushed it a little too hard in that turn, and it would wind up costing you 2 seconds. So those are the things that would have made more sense to show, because those are what are more immersive as far as it being a racing sim. Now, comparing it to GT7, the only thing I still have a question on is going to be custom races, as far as like setting the field with AI and so forth. But overall, from a visual standpoint, the tracks that they have, which I got a little bit of a gripe about some of the tracks that they have, but we'll get into that later. But overall, what they're talking about as far as like the penalties and regulation for online racing, the setup for like race weekends, the daily races, because if anybody's ever been on GT Planet or any of the forums for GT, that the daily races are like more than half the people hate them, and then every now and then you get a gem, but then it's replaced by something silly like they added a van to GT7 not too recent or not too long ago, and it's like now they're adding the ambulance to GT7. It's like, it's supposed to be a racing sim. Now I understand some people want to have fun and drive an ambulance or a van, but it's like, that's your daily race. Like, come on. But it looks like they're going to be more focused on real race cars on real race tracks for race weekends, and it's going to feel like you're actually at a race weekend where you get the practice, you get the qualify, and then you get the race based on your like basically your safety score and whatnot. And those are things that Forza Motorsport needs to kind of help clean or regulate their online. Like before, the biggest drawbacks that you would have, even with some of the what do you call it, like ranked races and things like that, is that you would still have people grief where they know they can bump you before you get into turn, which screws up your braking point, and then you wind up going off track and they don't get penalized because they hit you before the turn. And people used to be able to cheat stuff that way, and it was a mess. So now you're going to have it where that guy that bumps you before the turn, they might, before they make contact, they may go into ghost mode. They get penalized for making that deliberate or intended to make a deliberate contact, and you get to make your turn the way you would normally do it without losing your reputation or safety number or any of that stuff. So there's a ton of things that they've stepped up that I kind of wish that were in GT7 as far as their online stuff. But just overall, I think if you're going to look at both games, unless you're looking for specifically tracks in Japan or some of their legacy fantasy tracks, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with the way Motorsport has more worldwide tracks, more like real race tracks as opposed to fantasy tracks, although they announced their third one, which I'm not a fan of, but they still have more or I would say more actively used tracks in their initial lineup, and they're going to continue to add more, which GT7, I think it's almost 2 years in and they've only added 3 tracks since launch. So we'll see.
I saw was it Oak Valley that they had today or something like that? I like that track. I like the wide lanes that they had for it. So how many tracks have been announced so far, Fuzz? Do you know? About 20
right now. They're at 15 total.
Okay.
Some of like the fantasy tracks that they have announced so far have been Eagle Rock Speedway, which is like an oval. It's kind of like, think of like Martinsville or Richmond Raceway. the Grand Oak, which they announced today,
Grand Oak, that's
and
what it's
then
called.
Maple Valley, which is like their I wouldn't say carryover, but
that's my favorite track ever in Forza.
Now the big ones for me, they have Barcelona, they have Le Mans, they have Spa, they also have the Cone, which I believe is a fairly new one to Forza or new to Forza.
Mm-hmm.
They have Indianapolis, and I'm assuming they're going to have both the oval and the road course. Kayamala, Kayalama or Lami. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering that name, but that's, I believe, the new track in like South Africa. They got Laguna Seca. They also have Mid Ohio, which I kind of would like to trade Mid Ohio for Road Atlanta, unless Road Atlanta is going to be one of the final 5 that they announced.
Yeah.
Only because Mid Ohio is in use for like IMSA and other circuit series now, but it's still a pretty good track. You got Road America, you got Silverstone, Suzuka, and then VIR, Virginia International Raceway. Those are the announced. I'm still hoping they announce Bathurst and the Nürburgring. Those need to be or are must-haves that I hope. Or
I only want one track, and I want the Vegas F1 track. I want to put it at nighttime with a light rain and have ray tracing on. That shit would look so good. Like,
yeah.
Another one I would like to see, if not Vegas, the one in Texas, the Circuit of Americas. That's another good one as well. That they've had an F1 race, they've had a couple of NASCAR races, they have motorcycle and other car club races. IMSA uses it and things like that. Canadian Tire is another one I would like to see them add, but there are other ones that are above that. I think like Daytona is a must, because not because of the oval, but because of the road course, and it's used for a 24-hour Rolex race. So you would have that night and day transition, like what they've now added to the game, that you can see firsthand. That's one of the things I like to do in GT7, although it's not quite the same time progression, but I would love to see how that looks with Forza. And then Watkins Glen, a traditional road course used by a lot of licensed or sanctioned bodies as far as IndyCar and NASCAR and IMSA. They all use it, so I'm hoping that makes the cut. But yeah, there's compared to the tracks that they had last time, they've cut, I would say, probably 6 tracks, or they're going to probably wind up cutting 6 tracks from that were in Motorsport 7 that were real tracks that will probably be added later, which I wish they were kind of added at launch and add new to Forza tracks afterwards. But the fantasy tracks that they used to have that haven't been announced, like the one that's like in Saudi Arabia,
right?
That one hasn't been announced, might not make the cut. The one that was like the snowy mountains in the Alps and stuff like that, I don't think that one's making it either. But then I'm not the biggest fan of fantasy tracks, only because like the one they showed today,
those more than the regular tracks.
I mean, they have some nice things about them, but I'm not a fan of windmills in their tracks, and I think there's like a not really a jinx, but like a superstitious thing about windmills near real tracks. And it seems like every game that has like a fantasy track likes to put windmills near tracks, and you never see that in real life, kind of thing.
Right.
So it's just kind of a weird visual for me. But yeah, if you're on the fence of like, should I finally pick up GT7 or go with Forza, I think you'll be happier with Forza at launch. GT7, maybe when they do a PC port and add like 3 more tracks that are real tracks, hopefully, that's when it might catch up. But then the cars are a bit dated, and they seem to add like,
and the
I wouldn't say Looney Tune cars. They don't
as good either. So
yeah, they got like cars from 2017, and then they have imaginary or concept cars, as opposed to some of the more modern like prototype cars that are used in IMSA or any of the updated GT3 and GT4 cars and things like that. But the track thing is the only thing that's like my gripe right now, and hopefully we can do custom races. But yeah, it's a lot of good stuff was shown and talked about, and then overshadowed by the stuff that they could have left on the cutting room floor. Like Pong said earlier, it could have been like on a blog, like put it on the forum. Hey, if you were interested in it, like, because I would honestly say I haven't really seen anybody. I haven't looked today though, but I haven't seen anybody talking about those features, like as far as the split screen and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it was because it was so badly implemented in the previous Motorsport 7 that people are like, I'm one that says good riddance to it. I understand there's probably people that are still like, oh yeah, I would really love to have it, but it's like not many games are doing split screen that well. And hopefully at some point, and I always wondered why this wasn't a thing, because it would make more sense to me to do this is have where your console can output to 2 screens, although I understand that it would probably from a technical standpoint be more costly. But that would be a better option, I think, than doing split screen, where now we're dealing with better graphics, better frame rates and things like that. And then trying to do a split down the middle just seems like it's a step back into the 80s, which I guess nostalgia is great, but not for racing.
Yeah,
games,
there's
or at
games,
least not for me.
There's racing games for that though, right? So, anyway, yeah, good thoughts, man. I don't even know where to go from there because I broke it down like big time, bro. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Forza Motorsport 8, or Forza Motorsport, and it I think is probably going to be the sim racer for the next decade. Honestly.
Oh, it's a 10-year game that's already failed.
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to the future of it, man. I know that like at launch it's like a certain picture, and I know over time it will grow because I think that's what their plan is for this game. So how it's launching is like one thing, but like I also see the bigger picture potentially with this game, and I think they're launching with plenty of content. Like I'm not saying, oh, this is so little content at launch, and it's none of that. It's just like it's a full-fledged release. You know what I mean? They got enough tracks. They got a lot of cars.
Split screen though.
How many? Like 500 something cars. They got a fully featured multiplayer mode. They are like for
It's
me
not fully
like
featured for me.
Feature complete in all the ways that matter. You know what I mean? And but I still think things are going to evolve and change and be added over time. And I think this game's going to be a monster. I really do. I think it's just going to shit all over any sim racing game that's ever launched.
Either that or Xbox is about to fail, because this is a true sign that they're heading in the wrong
Xbox has got to sell to Apple because Forza sucks.
Sell the Apple.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. I'm just telling you what I heard.
Have we seen any Forza Motorsport ads on buses?
No,
but I'll tell you where there have
bus.
been better ads for Forza Motorsport on the actual cars at the racetrack.
Yes, that would have been super dope.
The Cadillac
along the side of the walls.
I don't understand why that doesn't happen. I don't watch it, so maybe I'm just disconnected. But that'll be like the one thing
they might
that, like,
do it. I wouldn't even fucking know. Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm just probably on NASCAR all over the place for Motorsport.
Yeah, typically you'll see Microsoft, Xbox, or Forza at real racetracks, and you'll sometimes see like PlayStation at some of them as well. But like my experience for when I was going to tracks pretty much multiple times a year for NASCAR, when I would was actively going to the track, I would always see Xbox and NASCAR, even though EA and now Motorsport Games and a few others have had the sponsorship, but because Microsoft had licensing for NASCAR and I guess Motorsport 5 and 6, or at least in 6, you would see Xbox on some of the billboards. You would see Microsoft on some of the billboards and things like that.
It's almost like people market their games like closer to launch than 3 months out.
Oh no, we need 3 months. Starfield's probably going to get delayed. It hasn't been had 3 months of
13 months marketing. That's the new thing now. We need
13 months. Why not? Why not 16?
Yeah, fucking Halo had the Butterfingers candy bars out a year before launch, bro.
Like, they did.
Yeah, see,
they did.
Look how well Halo did.
All the like Mega Block stuff they had out there and all that stuff.
Really.
Like there was like a bunch of leaks because of toys, because of all the deals that they had in place with Halo. Anyway,
a win for some
about your
Starfield
toys.
chips.
Yeah, I'll say this: we may have missed the mark on March, but we were spot on as far as like
the marketing.
needing, 3 months or 8 months of marketing. It's like
It shows that we weren't as crazy as everybody said we were. You know what I mean? It was entirely possible when we were still speculating on that for it to have happened. But like it is what it is, right? You know, we're starting to see all the Starfield stuff spill out left and right now. You know, so
But
everybody that was
not
complaining
on
2
buses
weeks
on that.
ago is they don't really have much to say. Like you see Starfield everywhere now.
Anybody getting that Starfield chair?
I want it, bro, but I ain't about to spend $600 something on
There's a better chair that you could buy for that money.
Yeah.
And plus, I will miss this big ass lazy boy chair. Like this thing, like I've had it since before I started the channel. I had this chair for like 6 years, dude. And it is like brand. It's like brand new. It's broken in. You know, I ain't never getting rid of this thing until I can't sit on it.
I need to get rid of my DXR racer chair because it looks cool, but it is not comfortable at all.
I'll hire you 3-bit to come and paint a Starfield logo on my chair.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, besides that, speaking of Starfield, guys, it's 20 days until Starfield, and me and Pong had to talk privately in the DMs. Pong refused to do PM in the PM on the day Starfield releases.
I was gonna say we could do an hour. It comes out 7 o'clock our time, so we could do an hour PM to PM.
An hour? What's the point?
That is a Thursday. I thought it was a Friday.
No, it's coming out the 31st. Jasper,
it's coming out Thursday.
US, yeah. So
7
p.m. Central Time.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
We could do an hour like Starfield hype, like
getting ready for it, just getting pumped,
getting
like
ready for Starfield, and then I could go into a Starfield stream.
Right.
Maybe we do that.
Yeah, we could do that.
I mean, you don't have to. You can do a 5-hour hype stream before it launches.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I gotta work, so no. But yeah, we could definitely pull off.
Yeah, we'll have like a
Starfield launch party. Okay. Let's go.
Just hard cut to end the streams.
Yeah, I said Pong earlier. I was like, I'll just cancel the show, but like, yeah, we got an hour. We can just hype. Like, hey, Starfield's here. Yeah, let's have the hype train, and then
have like a countdown.
And then all it's gonna be is Mav just hitting the play button to see if it goes live a little bit.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna be doing too, right? Because we're sitting here both on our PCs.
Yeah, I'll just launch it on stream. This will be I'll try and make that the first stream from my PC, an ultra wide.
Crazy.
Interesting.
I did hit you up in the DMs though, because I saw the times today. And I was going through, and I was like, oh wait. That's PM to PM. I'm like, I'm like, that's not good.
We ain't waiting on the launch of Starfield. Like one of the most anticipated games in like decade. You know, as like anyway. 20 days.
Gamers first.
20 days.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
The hype is real.
I've been trying to forget about it so that way it'll be like, oh, cool, Starfield's tomorrow.
I want to know
why 3-bit?
Because it's kind of like
what
when you really want a game and you keep thinking about it, it takes longer to come out.
It's true if you're not playing anything else. Mav and I went through that a little bit.
Baldur's Gate.
Thinking about Baldur's Gate is taking over.
Fucking week flew by with that.
Yeah.
What day is it? Oh wow, Starfield's tomorrow. You know, that's what I'm trying to do.
There's Diablo that I can fall back on.
No,
I'm wanting to get back into Halo right now. It's like picking up, bro, and they've got some.
It's feeling really good.
I
played about 20 matches, and it feels really good.
Yeah.
And I played the I don't know if anyone's seen my Halo Minecraft clip, but the mods for Halo MCC are amazing as well.
I played Cursed Halo, and then I downloaded the Halo 1 cut content E3 demo. I played that, and I played a little bit of Halo 2 cut content. I need to finish that.
Super fun.
The next thing I want to do is play Legendary third person Halo.
Ooh, I didn't try that. I gotta
that Baldur's Gate though, man. It's just got its hooks, you know. It's got its hooks.
Y'all are on it, man.
And until Starfield comes out, I mean, it's going to be a lot of that and other stuff, you know.
You're not cool if you play Baldur's Gate though.
Is that
Save
a
it.
thing?
Save it. It's coming tomorrow morning. Live in split screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
What
my
do you
God.
got to
a
play to be
thing.
cool?
Who said that?
Oh,
It's
bro.
not cool. Only weirdos play Baldur's Gate 3.
What?
Oh, wait. People are pulling out the nerds again, and it ain't cool. D&D ain't cool in my area. Like, oh,
Why you guys out here?
I felt
proud
like
that
I
you're
was
playing
back in
Baldur's
grade
Gate?
It ain't
school and
cool
high
in
school
your
again.
area, like in
Yeah.
in like your zip code. Everybody, your
Yes.
zip code
Yes.
is too cool
Shut
to play
up,
a
nerds.
game.
Yes.
Like, I'm
not joking. It got brought back up again.
Zip code. We're anti-CRPGs up in this zip code. Don't come around here with those Baldur's Gates. What kind of horse shit is that?
Oh man. Again, it was back to grade school and high school again, man.
Wow.
I felt like, when I saw it, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. You're
Yeah,
a
man.
fucking gamer. And you're out here
You're the
slamming
problem.
people for liking Baldur's Gate 3 and
Who
D&D.
said
All
it?
right.
Who said
Oh.
it?
Part of the problem.
I'll
Yeah.
have to DM
Undisclosed
me and tell
information.
me,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
who it was.
It started in one place and then it got just built up.
It
from
kind of
there.
built up from there because
It's on multiple shows. and
people have
everything.
followings and it's a thing. So whatever. I don't know why people follow these type of people, but whatever, man.
I think I'm
Like-
just going to go jump on a car in New York City. That's pretty cool. I heard.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Do they understand like these kind of games are at the roots of all the RPGs?
Nah,
that
nobody
people play?
plays these games, man.
Nobody
Like,
but
100K
nerds play these
people,
games.
If
man.
you have
On
if
Steam?
you have a
Nah.
skill tree in a game, if you have a like RPG elements in the game, the core essence of that comes
You open up a
from
chest.
It comes from these kinds of games. That's what they originally started from. Like it's like I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't
Nope,
understand.
we're back to the
uh,
popular cool kids again. Just that's where we're at,
Well,
man.
I like to think I'm pretty cool.
Nah, man, you play a Baldur's Gate. You playing that thing on
I'm-
PC.
I'm a level 12 cleric
You
in
got all, you
Baldur's
got
Gate.
all
Gate.
that power and you're playing Baldur's Gate.
I got Game Pass. you
J Rock
know.
knows he's out here. Nerds, look at J Rock in the chat.
All that power
I'm gonna
you're playing
cast
Baldur's Gate.
fireball on this wizard over here, guys.
I want to cast magic missiles.
Yeah.
I have +3. I have a I have a door. No. Damn it. I fucked
Oh God,
Say-
Psycho, you
Say
Say
it.
it.
Go.
Say
Oh, I
it.
fucked it up.
Right.
No,
Psycho.
I fucked up.
I'm gonna cast fireball and you're a bitch ass. You're going down, dear. That's what you say. You say it with pride. You embrace the game.
I'm gonna roll for initiative so I can kind of just stab this guy in the back on the road here.
No, there was like back in the day, there was like this old fucking skit with D&D, and then this guy had an elven dagger that had +5 troll damage, and he was rolling for initiative, and his buddy cast magic missiles, and then there was this huge fight, and it was this whole.
I wish I had a +5 dagger to troll damage for this community. I'll tell you that.
Is that just the latest thing people are saying about Baldur's Gate?
Wow.
No, that's
Yes.
that's dead
It's a
ass
thing.
shit.
Are
It's a
they
thing.
using that
That's
to discredit it from being game of the year, or is it just more of a
just more. It's a trash
It's just
game,
hate
and
on
why would
Baldur's
anybody
Gate.
play it?
Yeah,
Oh,
this is you guys are the problem with gaming. That's why we can't get good games.
thing?
Well,
Are
why
they-
you guys playing
Are
Baldur's
they
Gate?
gonna
It's not
say
a
the
good
same
game.
thing about Starfield when it comes out? Is this,
Nah, that's different.
Yeah, that's different. It's not D&D.
That's
Like-
different. That's not that nerd shit. you
It's
guys
not.
have been
It's not
talking
that
about.
turn-based bullshit D&D shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
nobody
it-
wants to
is
play
it
that
'cause it's
shit.
turn-based? Is that why?
Some of it. Yeah.
So some of it. The
Yep.
other part of it is like, oh, everybody that plays it, they just want to do it for the bestiality side of it. That's what turned you guys on.
Are
That's
you
the only
serious?
reason you guys
Oh,
are just
yeah.
horny.
Oh,
You want an excuse to play a game on
Oh yeah.
on your
Oh, yeah.
platform.
Scott Free BattleTech was freaking amazing, bro.
You guys don't have any
Yeah.
girls to
Wow, I
talk
forgot
to
about
or
that.
go home to.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, it's going to be some.
Bro, these are gamers talking like this. Legit. Like this is like
this is gamers talking.
it boggles. Like I said,
Yeah.
now that gaming's so popular, Steele and I are gonna get in tomorrow morning.
Let's
Like-
you got to go and look at their played list. Whoever it
We're
is,
just
find
it
them.
doesn't-
Look at their games that they played, so you can find the like.
Oh,
Like
they
little-
play all the hot games, man.
Yeah,
you
you
know
can-
what games they play. All the hot
Oh,
ones.
you
Just-
got
it doesn't
3,000
matter.
hours in Madden.
I
That's
know
pretty
it
cool.
doesn't matter. I'm
No,
saying, like,
no.
These
You know,
people
the
still
God
are the
Wars.
listen. Just because gaming has gotten popular, we still have a group of gamers out here who would be the popular cool kids back in the day who bullied all of us who like games. Like they still have that mentality, and they try to separate themselves as to being something better, something different than the average gamer or the nerds who like games like Baldur's Gate 3. There's legit.
Is this coming from an Xbox guy or is this coming from a PlayStation?
No, this
guy?
is they play these people play everything, man. It's just they feel like people who play certain games, certain style of games are the people that are holding back gaming. This is why we're not getting those top of the line.
The developers are coming out saying we
and,
can't make games like this. Don't stop pushing the industry forward too much because we can't keep up. They're saying that about that kind of game, the game that developers are afraid of right now.
Yes, they need to be spending more money. That's what we should want as a gamer, for them to spend more money so we can get better product.
Wow.
And get better cinematic games that actually tell good stories, and all of them need to be of that quality, not this piggyback bullshit that we're getting with Baldur's Gate and sexy bears and shit like that. That's the conversation. Like that's one side of it. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's a perspective.
Well, I'll love when I see that game potentially win Game of the Year and those idiots cry about it. But
there's too many contenders for Game of the
Year.
No
one's even romancing the bear dude anyway. It's all about
Shadow. Nah, man, that doesn't matter.
It's all about Shadow.
It doesn't matter. You could do that. You can make everybody naked. You guys are just a bunch of hornballs. That's the only reason you got it.
That's true. 100% true.
It's not the game's not good. You just excuse it because of the nudity.
The only issue I have with it right now is it crashes, and I want to finish my fight against Nier. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Nah, man. You holding back game, man.
Spartan 661. That would be absolutely freaking fantastic. As Artemis Entree was a deal.
Hearing Mav say he wants to update his 100%. Drivers is just weird to me. Still, that you finally have a PC and your PC master. I gotta update my drivers and but anyways,
it's been fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to playing Forza Motorsport on this thing. I'll tell you that.
Oh, it's gonna be a good time.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
And Forza
Horizon. I'm definitely playing Starfield on PC. But dang, I want to play it on Xbox too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like primarily a console gamer. I'm probably gonna play most of my games on console, but like even the other day I was playing Diablo 4, or I was playing Baldur's Gate 3, and this was like on Saturday, I think. And I was like, I played a lot, right? I was like, shit, I cannot sit here anymore. So I got my ass up and I went in the other room and I played Diablo for a while, right? But like overall though, like for these games I'm most excited about right now, I'm gonna be probably playing to get the most out of them, right? Like why not, you know? Right. So Nick Kerr with the $2 super chat says, love the show. Appreciate you, Nick. Love having you in the chat. And then we also got $2 from Batman is not a superhero click.
All right, Vic.
Okay.
Vic?
Yeah. Says BG3 is amazing. Steam Deck got me chilling outside. Yeah, right on. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's a game I wish was hitting Xbox next month. But guess what? We got Starfield. So real quick, I want to know what kind of and shout out to Sour Blow Gaming because he actually kind of inspired this thought I had earlier. And I know you got to go in a minute, 3-bit. So we'll go to you first here.
Yep.
What kind of character are you going to play in Starfield?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this actually. I've been thinking about like, should I be like a movie character?
Wait, is this too much of a nerd conversation? I mean, should like we have this conversation? Like, I know I'm going into the weeds about a video game, so I just make sure it's allowed.
This is perfect.
Okay, great. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been thinking either going the movie route of like being someone for like Firefly, or if I should just be a space pirate. I'm leaning towards being a space pirate. Not based off of anyone, just kind of having my Mach 5 spaceship, which I've been telling you guys about, where it's like the Speed Racer M, but it'll be a spaceship version of it, and just robbing a lot of people. I usually play the bad guy kind of after I play the good guy in these types of games, like in Skyrim or something, because I really feel bad. When you talk to different people, you make that decision, like, let me just kill you for your money and stuff like that. But I think I might do it this time. I might be the ultimate pirate where like hey, just give me all your money and steal things and steal people's ships. I just might go that route in the very beginning. So that's how I'm going to play, and I might actually stream it too. So we'll see. But yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna do. What about you guys?
Sounds like fun. I was gonna go to Psycho next, but then I remembered he's not gonna play it. He's gonna play Sea of Stars first instead, which is that nerdy turn-based game. I mean, who even cares about games like that? Psycho. I mean, no, like, but what are you gonna play as Psycho?
Yeah, I may back out, Kate.
Coming to PlayStation Plus.
Oh yeah,
the Sea of Stars game.
You're gonna back out now, 3-bit?
Yeah, I as soon as the game starts, I might actually like, okay, I feel bad.
Yeah, you will. You'll be a good guy.
Like, actually,
you'll wind up being a space police officer with Boom.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'll make one bad decision. I'm like, okay, I feel bad.
You gotta restart the game.
Yeah, I restart the
3-bit never beats it.
Oh yeah. Kate read me for a fiddle. That's probably what's gonna happen.
And it's gonna be something like you just didn't like deliver someone's mail, so it's like, oh man, I feel really bad. That what if that letter was important?
That's fun.
It's like
and you're gonna have the parents as well, aren't you, 3-bit? So you can go take care of your parents.
Yeah, I think I want the parents.
Yep. He's gonna make them cabins in his ship, so he never has to leave their side.
He's gonna
I'm like,
visit
Mom,
them all
I'm
the time.
trying to be a pirate. Yeah, because I'm definitely going. I want to see that parents route, because I guess you send them money like every.
Yes, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Support them.
I'm gonna do that for sure.
So all right, Psycho, go ahead.
What I would want to be in Starfield. I mean, there's just so much, because you want to be a pirate, but also kind of want to be in the what is it, the Constellation, where it's kind of like the main, but also it's like God, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. There's just so many, because I want to be like good but also bad. So I might kind of be like a hybrid. So, you know, I'll be
like a human being.
Well, the thing is, like,
you can go by. Hold on.
See, it's like you want to.
So you're gonna be a fake neutral, is what you're gonna be.
That cargo. That cargo.
I just want to play the bad role just to see what it has, and then that's why I want to play like this twice.
Well, see, I'm always like the good guy when I play video games. Like Knights of the Old Republic, I always went light side. I always go.
Oh yeah.
Boring.
You go dark side song when you play. You play
always.
Oh,
so
okay.
you know, I never go back, because I'm always like, I'm more like, I want to do kind of something different than, you know, outside of stuff. So I was like, let me go good side, the good guy route. And so maybe this round I'll go straight out fucking space pirate and just loot everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I got a couple flags themes going, so see if I can upload those. If they let you upload them in the game, that'd be pretty cool, because I got a whole thing going.
You could just travel the galaxy, going to every Dave Matthews Band concert on every planet,
bro.
With a party ship, you know.
I'll be playing satellite
orgies and everything
instead of a party
there,
bus.
You
instead
know?
of a party ship.
Yeah, party ship. It's like Psycho's party.
They already
ship
show they've got
services.
party ships, right? All you gotta do is
Yeah.
get one of those party ships and just have somebody mod in Dave Matthews, so you can have him playing live like all the time.
Yeah,
that'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah, satellite.
Oh my god.
Greatness.
So yeah, no, that would be just like I said. There's just so much to really like when you get down into the nitty gritty. What you really want to do with Starfield, there's so much of what you want to do, and it's like, all right, this playthrough I want to do this, but it's like, yeah, it's like you just don't want to choose the wrong thing.
With
So
Bethesda games, like you can do all the roles, like you can play the factions, you can be like double triple agents with the factions, but just until you get to that decision, then you back away and be like, no, fuck you, I'm turning on you. So like you can
Because at
get
some point
most of the
stuff crosses, right?
Yeah. So you can get through most of the faction like storyline and like experience that.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about you, Steele? How you gonna play Starfield? Where you gonna go into it as? I know this is not like your typical thought process going into these kind of games, right? Like, you're not as interested or excited for Starfield as some of us, I think, after watching the split screen the other day. Or did I read that wrong?
No, that was on Twitter. I was making petty posts because I'm overly excited about Armored Core. But Starfield's going to be really interesting for me because it's going to be probably the second true Bethesda game that really pulls me in. And again, with it being a space odyssey game, a bit more based in reality, that's super interesting to me. But I'm planning on going into it like as a cybernetist Ronin, possibly. I'm going to try to blend the two if I can. Mainly because
Ronin.
Yeah, cybernetist mainly because the description for it really interests me. Being able to control robotics, and you're interested on like combining humanity with robotics. So I wanted to see how that ends up playing out. So that was kind of my thought process right now. But we'll see. Again, this is supposed to be a very vast game. Again, like the only other comparison I can give is Elder Scrolls Online or like a Mass Effect, where you have so many different choices about where you can kind of take your story, and it just being a new game. I'm just excited. I'm excited for it. I hope that I'm excited enough to play day 0.
Okay, day 0. Yeah, August 31st. You'll be. What day is Armored Core 6 release?
August 25th.
So that's 6 days later. You think you're gonna beat it by then?
No.
It's never going to be beaten, but I'm more than likely for sure beat the story by then for sure.
Okay, right on.
Hopefully.
Fuzzy, you got an idea of how you're gonna play Starfield? What your approach is?
Yeah, I think my main plan is be Space Admiral. It's going to start off as Space Pirate because I'm going to have to steal some ships for my crew. Once I get my crew figured out as far as who I'm recruiting and whatnot, I'm going to make sure that each one of them has their own ship so they can build their own crew. And it's just going to be like a fleet or an armada flying through space kind of thing. So I'll probably play the good guy role, but like the bad cop or dirty cop, where I'm robbing the bad guys kind of thing. Taking their ships, taking their loot and whatnot, but
Robin Hood situation.
Yeah, so I expect to have a collection of ships, a crew on each, and space pirates look out. That's what it's going to come down to. I'm looking to do like big space battles if I can. If that's a possibility, yeah, I want to have it where I can create my own
in that
Star
had
Trek.
like 6 spaceships kind of attacking him in that crazy segment where he was flying and then it looked chaotic on the screen. Yeah,
I'm looking to recreate that, but with me having 6 ships versus however many they may have at that point. So, but yeah, that'll probably be the first playthrough. The second playthrough will be the assassin or something along those lines, just killing everything that doesn't make, or some stuff that doesn't even make sense, like, oh, I have a quest for you, just to see how it breaks the game. Like at that point, my second playthrough is not to see if I can break the game, but kind of to see if I can break the game that way. But we'll see how it goes.
Right on.
Thank you.
Jasper.
So there's a few things I want to do. One thing I want to do is just do a cargo run and get chased by pirates to see how intense that can be.
Nice.
And then I think I'm going to main though engineering just so I can repair my ship. The way I'm going to build my ship, I want to build the Enterprise, but the thing is with that is like the fighting style with the spaceships in Starfield doesn't seem to work like that. This seems more like dogfight style. So we'll have to see how that goes, like how I build my ship and actually play that out. So that's kind of what
I don't think it's like, oh, we lost Sector 2, go to the
at least until
Sector
modders
2
bring in
raid.
capital ships, right?
Right.
once that happens, then it's on, right?
Yeah. But I'm for sure going good. The serpent religion people, I'm already assuming are the bad guys, so they're already like enemy
On
number
your
1.
list.
Yeah.
Hey, they might have dope armor though.
I think it's red, so you'll probably love it.
Hey, perfect. See?
But yes, I'm just a good guy all the way.
Okay,
Got to save the galaxy.
fair enough. Pong, I have a feeling I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, I already know. I've said it a billion times. Everybody's getting boarded, man. There's nobody. I'm interested because J Rock put out a post today asking, what faction you were going to join up with, right? And I'm interested. I'm curious to see how this is going to work out because I'm boarding everybody. I don't care who you are. So if I join a faction like the Crimson Fleet, their ships ain't safe. So I'll be boarding them. And I'll be robbing everybody. I want to build the ultimate pirate empire. I want to have bases on multiple planets. I want to be, shipping stuff between because they already confirmed you can create an economy out of that. So I'm definitely going to be resource heavy. But it's going to be tough. And I know it's going to be tough because there's so many different aspects skill tree wise that you have to get into to make all of that kind of work out. So, and of course, I'm going to be a thief on top of it. So it's going to be tough, man. But I'm so excited just to try it out to see how far I can get robbing everybody and just to see what happens.
I'm not going to be able to set foot on a single inhabited planet.
No, that's going to be the question is like how far that reach actually gets. Like, do I have to, like, am I going to be forced to be reliant on myself, right? And my crew and my bases for everything because I can't enter any kind of zone without being
definitely
wanted.
Get some dialogue song where people approach you and be like, "Hey, you're the guy that's been killing."
Yeah. Well, I'm taking the wanted trait up front, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm taking one of the optional traits for sure, which is wanted, which you just randomly have bounty hunters after you. I'm totally taking that up front right away. Because that's just more experience. When they show up, yes, they could come in very inopportune times, but it's more ships that I can take and more experience that I can gain and more loot that I can have because those dudes are just going to be showing up randomly wherever I'm at. So I'm definitely taking that. So it's already going to get kind of hectic, but man, God, I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
31st.
Do we know how many skill trees you can get? Like, for example, I want the parent one where I send.
Well, that's not part of the skill tree. That's one of your traits.
Okay.
So one of your optional ones. The optional ones you don't have to take any if you don't want to. If you take them, they have a bonus, but they also have a negative to them, right? So that's the deal.
I think they say you can switch those out.
Yes, you can. You can remove them and switch them out. Yeah, supposedly.
So at some point you can just excommunicado your parents.
You probably could
Well,
shoot
I mean,
your
you could
parents,
shoot them too.
Yeah, right.
Bye. Right.
Like
just drop a grenade in the living room and walk out.
Yeah,
the front door.
walk out.
So that's very different than what Sourblow had said. I don't know if you saw this post he did earlier where he tagged a bunch of us on Twitter, Pong.
Yeah, where he said I was going to be a diplomat.
Yeah, it's very opposite for you, right? Very opposite.
No. Well, I mean, in a way, I'll be a diplomat.
Yeah, you can pretend to be a diplomat, maybe, or
I'll just
you can pay me $5,000 right now, or you can walk away with your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So he had said for some reason, I don't know why, but he said scientist for me, which I looked and it wasn't even like one of the ones on the
people
list.
were making stuff up. Yeah.
So
he was making up a bunch of shit.
Yeah. So
it was pretty funny.
Curious why I thought scientist, but it made me think about it. I'm gonna try and be a fucking scientist in this game.
Oh my
God.
Oh God.
Here we go. I am gonna become the Walter White of space.
He's gonna mix the raw chemical and blow up half his spaceship.
Wouldn't that be chemist as opposed to scientist?
A chemist is a form of scientist, right? It's
Right.
sort of,
It is.
So
It's
I'm gonna become the Walter White of space, and I am going to create some kind of crazy space drug and have it distributed by my fleet all throughout the galaxy. This is gonna be amazing.
Is more like study of animals and geology and stuff in this game, Mav. Not let's create meth.
No, it's not gonna be meth. It'll be speth.
Well, they do have that special drug, right?
Yeah, they already have it. Yeah, they already have the fish drug.
What is it called?
Psychonauts' favorite party.
I don't know.
It's the one that they make in Fish City, right? The where we said Psycho was gonna live.
Yeah. Pleasure City.
It's Aurora. It's Aurora.
Aurora.
Oh, that's my Diablo character.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna make 98% pure Aurora that nobody else can.
It'd be funny if you can drug run in this though.
Nobody else will be able to create the same purity as my scientist, chemist.
Fuck contraband. We'll make it in
the
Starfield.
The best stuff in the galaxy and the universe, and we're gonna spread it everywhere. It's
before
gonna be...
you come into the port, they got to scan your cargo. So if you got any contraband, you got to like fake it and like fake the scan. And
yeah, we're gonna have. I'm gonna have like all these for when you go on the things and your ship gets weighed. I'll have like trick
Alien
stuff for
dildos.
that. Like we'll get. Yeah, I'll
have a secret compartment so it's hidden so they can't find it.
Yeah, it'll be amazing, and I'm gonna have to choose the right partners.
I gotta head out, yo. But
yeah,
love you.
All right.
Take it easy.
3-bit.
Say hi to
Hi,
your
3-bit.
say hi to your parents.
All right.
Later, bro.
3-bit.
Check
Are
him
you
out,
giving me their
everybody,
money?
on Video Games HD on YouTube and 3-bit on Twitter. That's where you can find him. But anyway, yeah, Starfield. Can't wait. 20 days. So that was inspired by Sour Blow. So it'll be interesting trying to figure out how to play as that way. But I'm sure there's traits and stuff for that.
It is.
I'm sure you'll just ask me and Pong what something does every.
And I'm gonna
5
be like,
minutes.
I have no idea. I'm not a scientist, bro. Figure it out.
Like I robbed some scientists.
Yeah. I just steal from you guys. Whatever
I'm a
I need, I
chemist.
steal.
Will my guy look like Walter White, Heisenberg? Yeah, maybe you could try and make him look like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
It's already a female character. You got to go straight female. I mean,
So it'll be Barbara Walter White.
Bad jokes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right.
Wasn't it Jordan?
All right. So I have one more thing we wanted to get to today, everybody. We had a showcase today at THQ Nordic. Had a showcase. It was like 30 minutes roughly, and they had several games there. A few new announcements. They did have a short trailer for The Last Ronin, the new Ninja Turtles game. As well, they had a new South Park game was announced. That's like a co-op action game.
Snow Day.
Yeah, South Park Snow Day. It looked pretty it could be pretty fun. There was a couple of new game announcements though that one of them wasn't necessarily a new announcement, but I am excited about it. But one of them is a new announcement. Titan Quest 2 was announced, and it was announced also for consoles as well, which is pretty cool. Another one of these action RPG games that did it ever come out on console before?
The first one's been out on console with all the DLC. I played quite a bit of it on PS4. So
yeah, I didn't remember playing it on Xbox back in the day. I tried it on PC, but Titan Quest 2 looks had a pretty cool trailer for that. Then they also had Gothic remake as well, which if you like games like Skyrim and stuff like that, Gothic was one of those franchises that came out in the early 2000s that were kind of copying that whole Todd Howard formula, right, of Western RPGs. Yeah, but this was a remake of that. The original Gothic, I looked it up, had like an 82 on Meta. Was a well-received game, but then it got like 4 sequels or something like that.
the whole the whole thing is on sale on Steam right now too. By the way,
Yeah, it was it.
you can pick. Yeah, you can pick it up
they
for
have
like
a THQ,
$3.
So
Yeah, it's like $3. It's crazy.
Any standouts from this show for any of you guys? There's also another the RTS, the Command and Conquer clone.
Tempest,
that's only on
that's
only
been
on
announced.
PC.
For
Tempest
a while
Rising
now.
Was there? Yeah.
Yep, that was there too. Outcast: A New Beginning. The original Outcast was way ahead of its time. Most people don't remember it. They remade
that
it
was the
again.
one with this guy was like flying and stuff.
And it's basically they just completely ripped off Avatar, like the whole storyline. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. I can just lean right into it, guys. That's fine. Like literally, like it's crazy how much they did. But Outcast again was a fan favorite back in the day because it was ahead of its time. As far as gameplay mechanics go, that open world feel, making decisions and that kind of stuff. The remake didn't hold up as well. When they brought it back out again, I played a little bit of it. But this looks pretty. This looks interesting. I'll put it that way. Again, when I'll get to this game, I don't know. But the whole aspect of kind of developing the world as you go along and as you research it, because again, it is Avatar. You're trying to be eco-friendly and trying to help, this alien species, save their planet. and the humans show up and they try to destroy it and you're against them because you're friends with the aliens. But I like the map aspect that they showed. The more you research, the more kind of, technology or skill trees you kind of open up that help the aliens, and the world kind of changes around you as you do that. That whole thing had me really kind of like going, oh, okay, I might want to check this out at some point.
There's a lot of verticality in
yes, that too.
In it. There was another game they showed in like the pre-show.
Yeah.
And it was like it was like a free-to-play game or something that says coming to consoles. They just made the announcement. God, I can't remember the name of it. But it was like medieval. It had like fantasy type combat and stuff. It had or like no, it was a shooter. Sorry, fuck. But it had like crazy big, tall enemies and like really tall buildings and stuff and. Really cool art designs and stuff like that. But it was a really weird setting and different for that kind of game. I can't remember the freaking name off the top of my head, but a lot of cool stuff at the THQ.
The last train home.
Something Exodus.
Yes,
Perth Exodus.
That's it.
The last train home looked pretty damn cool too.
Yeah,
it was like World War One, and it was kind of an RTS strategy mix, but it was all based upon you as a commander and your crew riding on a train across the countries, and you could build out your train and you would make stops in certain areas and you could build out those cities and kind of make decisions that would affect the war. And then there was an RTS aspect where you were battling too. Very interesting concept. It looked just damn cool. Different take on things that we kind of know pretty well. So it just was different. So that caught my eye too. That was Last Train Home.
Yeah. That did seem interesting. It was a pretty good show though. I mean, there's nothing like, wow, nothing's gonna blow your socks off. I was a little disappointed in the Ninja Turtle trailer because we didn't really get a look at the game at all.
Because they said it's 2 to 3 years out.
But so, it is what it is, right?
2 to 3 years out, long ways away. They got 20 more games to announce too, and I'm sure they're going to be at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Right? So for 100%.
They their last year Gamescom, they kind of just had they had like 3-day live streams where they just had the devs come up each day and like play their game for like 30 minutes and interview them. So, and they had like on floor demos for a lot of their games. So I'm sure that's probably what they'll do again this year.
Yeah.
But I think this was their Gamescom show pretty much. Just so they can have demos live.
I'm most excited about Titan Quest 2. I think it could be awesome. Like really good. But we'll see. What THQ
Path of the Exiles come out too.
Yeah. It's hard to have a lot of faith in like THQ stuff right now with what's going on in Embracer Group and all these things. So it's like it's gonna be interesting. I think a lot of these games are gonna depend a lot, like, because these are some of the bigger titles that Embracer Group is kind of publishing, as well as the other games. Some of the other like Tomb Raider and stuff like that. But the THQ is probably one of their biggest assets, and like we just talked about them quite a bit the other day when we're talking about Embracer Group and like the doomsday scenarios. And I think some of us were saying, well, maybe they should just get rid of THQ. And now they had this THQ showcase that highlighted some pretty cool stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. But one other thing before we get out of here, everybody, is there is a little bit of feeling potentially. No. There's a potential release date leaked for Stalker 2.
Yep.
That just hit. Which, if this is true, there's a lot. I mean, chuck of salt here, right?
Yep.
If this is true, we got another big game coming in 2023. Because this release date came from a source that has accidentally leaked dates in the past. It's actually from the actual publisher's main website, a storefront, right?
What they got? What's the date?
December 1st is a Friday.
December 1st.
Oh,
I love how Jasper just ruins your whole.
That's okay.
Oh,
It's fine. Take it, Jasper. He's the one that sent it to me. He's the one that sent it to us. So
I sent it.
Yeah, Jasper sent it. So December 1st.
That's crazy.
And their storefront, according to the poster on Twitter or X, whatever, according to the person that posted it, they have they originally on their same site accidentally revealed the Darksiders 2 on Switch before as well. So there's a history of this with that storefront. And it doesn't seem to be a placeholder because, like they said as well, most people when they do a placeholder will choose the 31st, not the 1st.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of smoke here that if you put up some things, fun speculation, maybe, or like maybe it's possible, very possible this game could right now be slated for December 1st. Does that mean it'll actually hit then? I don't know. But
apparently this retailer also is like, they mainly do physical copies of games. They mainly sell physical copies. So like whether that leans more legit or not, I don't know, but just.
Yeah. And they are going to be at Gamescom here with the playable demo.
Yep.
So Stalker 2,
sure.
that's we could be getting Stalker 2 this year, like a few months after Starfield, which would be perfect timing. Right, to be honest with you, for me, I mean, some people say don't release it the same year as Starfield or whatever, but you know, you get to play Starfield for 3 months and then you can check out Stalker 2. That's good enough for me, right? I
mean, it's in fucking Game Pass, so
yeah, right. I mean, it'd be amazing if they got it out this year. We'll have to see some more of the game at the Gamescom. Anybody, does everybody think this is legit? Or I want to see.
I'm like 75% sure this is legit.
75% sure it's legit?
Say 50-50.
50-50 for Pawn? Did you see this deal?
I didn't see that. But if it's believable or not, I'll give it a good old 90-10.
Oh,
he hasn't even seen it. He's like,
yeah,
not
just shows up.
But I'm going all in.
No, I mean, because December 1st, I mean, with Jasper saying that it's on a Friday, that just, I don't, from me, that makes it kind of instantly believable. I mean, they're been wanting to push out the game this year regardless, seemingly. They haven't said anything else, and I would have imagined that they would want to at least set expectation at this point, maybe a little bit. Maybe they're not, and they're just putting their head down working, but that just sounds like too perfect of a date. There's no other games right now that we know of that are coming out around December, unless we get something else from Gamescom. But outside of that, like it kind of, I mean, that makes sense to me. Just hearing it, it makes sense. But
90-10, more confident than Pong's 50-50.
Yeah,
and
the playable
75
with the playable demo at Gamescom. Like, I'm wondering if Xbox, like, since they have the exclusive deal, maybe Xbox was like, just delay your game just a little bit longer because we're going to put Starfield out now, and like we don't want you going up against that. So like, just we'll give you an extra 3 months and like work on it. Here's an extra $100 million, whatever it is.
Wow, here's like $100 million. Jesus, Jasper's just throwing around cash.
Here for the help with their war effort. You know?
I mean, it does make sense. I could certainly see it happen because I said all along we had a chance at it. Again, I just wasn't going to press I mean, it's like, if it comes out this year, fantastic. If it doesn't, fine. I totally understand.
Yeah, this isn't to put pressure on them or anything. It's just interesting, like, because we had speculated that it's possible it could hit this year just recently, and then now we're seeing December 1st.
Yep.
Again, it was on Xbox's list for 2023 games, the first half of 2023.
And it's a great point. It's a great spot for it, like Steele said. I mean, again, December is perfect time, and a lot of people are going to be excited, and there'll be a lot of people, like you said, coming out of Starfield and Forza, and have some time to play games again. And Stalker 2 has been a big, something a lot of people have been looking forward to. So makes sense.
This ABK deal gets done, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty will be 2 weeks before or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just fucking crazy to think about this, right? Because in the same year, at that point, Diablo is also first party. You would have had Diablo, you would have had Starfield, you would have had Forza, Call of Duty, and then a third party deal was for Stalker, like
possibly Age of Empires 4 console.
Yeah,
Overwatch just put out their campaign mode like yesterday or whatever, or story mode.
Yeah, so much stuff, man. Fuzzy, percentage wise, legit, not legit.
I think it's leaning legit. I'm gonna say 60-40 or 70-30. Like there's always that possibility it misses 2023, but the December 1st, it feels like that's an area that should be filled. I don't want to use the word gap, but
there's not a lot of games announced for that time right now, right?
Yeah, because
No.
I think prior to Stalker being back in the conversation, we kind of expected maybe Hellblade, dips in before the end of the year kind of thing or something like that. Even I guess the pushback was it wouldn't make the game of the year, consideration or whatever. But
No,
yeah,
they're gonna save that for March.
yeah, so they I could see now Hellblade being pushed to early part of next year. This fills in the end of this year, and then we'll see how the remainder of 2024 goes. But Stalker
Yeah,
2, December.
Hellblade's coming out in
would be
December.
perfect.
Marketing should start up next month for that. So.
We're gonna start a December train.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 now. Right on. Psycho.
Yes.
Legit, not legit.
It could very well be legit if we're getting a playable demo here in 2 weeks. It could be very feasible that we could get this game as early as December 1st. So
yeah,
we've been waiting for. It was supposed to come out in April, but of course, world events happened. So, it was understandably why it got delayed. There was no ill will towards the developers of Stalker 2. So, it was just, stay safe. And whenever it's ready, it's ready. And now they're able to, I think they went to Poland or whatever it was. So now were able to develop the game and possibly finish this up. And it'd be very, very interesting. People were wondering if there was going to be a PS5, but we don't know if that's going to be in the cards anytime soon, because of everything. So they had the Xbox version ready to go. So they finished that up, and I wonder how polished, and if they really had Xbox engineers sit there and really squeeze everything out of that game to harness the power of the Xbox.
It is a UE5 game, so we'll see how good it is.
that's what we'll find out, because the coalition, they've been helping somebody, so we could very well be the Stalker 2 devs. So it'll be very interesting to see how this game is, and we'll find out real quick after Gamescom, because if it is really, really done well, journalists, I think, will kind of be like, we'll hear a lot of rumblings and behind the scenes on how well this game is looking and plays and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
heck, GSC Game World is definitely going to get a lot of positive feedback, no matter what. But I think if the game is, because I've always said we'll never know how the game would have been had none of what happened, and they all had been able to be together and polish the game and do it the normal way. It's crazy that they got it done under these circumstances anyways, but it will be, I am curious to see how it actually all fully turns out. I won't blame them no matter what happens with this game, no matter what. Again, the fact that they finished it despite everything is crazy enough. Like, hats off to all of them. So I can't wait to see 2 Psycho. I'm excited. And OCDgamer, you think you got a lot of games now? It's not stopping, bro. 2024 is lined up to be just as bad as this year. So
it's going to get to the point where there's so many games are going to be out, just not from first party, but all the third party stuff and things are coming in the Game Pass, that it's just going to be like, when am I gonna find fucking time? You're gonna be glad. You're gonna ask Xbox, please just do 1 a quarter, please. Yeah. Everything there's so much.
You all got to become grazers like me. Just deal with it.
We just
beat the game
stop playing
speedrun games.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Play everything on easy and finish it.
Freaking nerds.
I play for the story.
Nobody plays those games, nerds.
Man,
nerds.
what a fun show tonight, guys. Thank you all for being here. This was awesome. It really was.
We found out Forza's dead, and
no, it's not. Forza's gonna be sick, bro. I can't wait. All the changes they made, all the updates to the graphics and the cars and the handling, and It's going to be special. There's not enough focus for me though. I got to say one thing. On the like 1990s and 2000s tuners, I want more focus on, you know, the C class B or lower B class cars, right? Now I do appreciate the amount of attention they're given to like the race element and race day and all that stuff. I understand the enthusiasts with all that. But man, I love the everyday cars that you soup up and you make badass, because I can picture myself driving actually in that car, and like, you know, the cars that you've had a chance to
Yeah,
own.
but
in
wouldn't
the
you want to
past,
experience like a McLaren or something though?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, and I want that too. I want that too, but I don't want them to ignore the other things. And I still love that. Like, I still love taking the, like you mentioned, the Supra, you know, like these like 50, 40, $50,000, $30,000 cars, right? Or less, you know, and like from back in the day, and like, you know, when it was, when that,
yeah,
when
you
that
got to
culture
soup
was
up
really
your
going.
Kia and
I don't know. I mean, not just like
Not a Kia, but like
Yeah, I
an Eclipse,
I-
or your, you know, your Honda Prelude, your S2000s.
yeah.
Like the Mitsubishi, was it the GT or GTO or the GT 2000? I think they would call them. It was like a Dodge Stealth, basically rebadge,
There
or
was a
Dodge
three.
Stealth
There
was a
was a
rebadge
three.
version of it.
The 3000 GT.
3000. Okay, yeah. That I just remember the Dodge
Yeah.
Stealth being the rebadge version of it.
Yeah.
Like those cars are the ones that you can tune to hit above their weight class, and
Yeah.
they're
And they
just,
always had
you know,
tons of
fun
body
weekend
kits and all
track
that
cars.
stuff for them
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And there was a lot of European cars too. So like they had the BMW M3, you know, it was
Yeah.
like that. You had this Impreza WRX. You know, then you had like, you had the Skylines and you know, all that kind of stuff too from the tuner side. But I do also like miss that with these games, and there used to be a bigger emphasis on it back in the day. The original Forzas and the original Gran Turismos, and now it's like all we see is more is like the higher end cars, you know, which is cool. I like that too, but I still want the other, you know.
Yeah.
I want to take these everyday cars and make them badass, because those are the cars that like I had fun driving, you know. My 99 Mustang was my first car. I was 16 years old. Had a 99 Mustang. I didn't drive it properly by any means. But it was a 6-cylinder. And I had a lot of fun in that car, right? And I like trying to think about like what it would be like to soup up that car and take it on a track, you know?
you tear up the gearbox.
No, I didn't. But yeah, anyway, I miss that in some of these games. But anyway, I guess that's kind of what Need for Speed is a little bit now, more or less. But let's get everybody out of here, guys. Steel Rain, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you can find me, Steel Rain. That's Steel Rain. That T is a 7 everywhere. Google's probably the best place. But other than that, I got a show that I'm one half of a host of, and that's Live a Split Screen every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, where we get live, raw, and uncut, and give you some of that RTS perspective, just on the gaming industry in total. I think we're gonna have a fun time tomorrow. I think so. I'm feeling all right. Planning things out. I think we're gonna be good. But nonetheless, thank you guys for having me on tonight. Some dope conversations, and can you tell that we're excited about Forza?
Just a little bit.
Appreciate you guys. Much love.
Thanks, Steel. Psycho, where can everybody find you, bro?
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's a Friday evening. Go enjoy yourselves the last little bit of time. And you can find me on social media everywhere. Psychonauts 8. You can find me Mondays, 10 o'clock, and here every Friday at 10 o'clock, or as early as I can get here from work. But yeah, find me there and all that good shit.
Yeah, appreciate you, Psycho. Thanks, bro. Fuzz, where can everybody find you, sir?
Just want to thank you for having me on and letting me ramble about motorsport. And man, just awesome being here with you guys. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me, Pong, WebDave, and PTK Blam tomorrow on the Shop Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then look forward to seeing you guys here for FSP first thing Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
Right on, Fuzz. Appreciate you. Jasper, can everybody find you?
Yo. Check it out. Lord Jasper Twitter, Lord Master Jasper YouTube. I saw Pong laugh at it. It just like threw me off. All that fun stuff. Monday, Friday, 10 o'clock. Right here, Fun Speculation with FSP and Xbox Ultimate. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. So check that out.
Right on, broski, and the legendary outro of Pong Soul.
Yes, sir. What a great Friday night. Big topics tonight. Big discussion. I love the Forza talk again. Having Fuzzy here is a pleasure when we get into those racing conversations and Steel and everybody. Again, it's just awesome to have so many different opinions and so many different voices come from different backgrounds on these games, and bring that knowledge to the forefront when we have these kind of opinionated pieces. Again, it's a wait and see. We'll see when it comes out. We'll get the controllers in our hands and we'll see how it all plays out. But great topics, great discussions tonight, brothers. Chat, you guys were absolutely incredible as always, bringing the conversation in there as well. Thank you all for being here. Nothing but love and respect each and every week for all the shows that you support, not just here, but everywhere. So thank you. Love seeing the familiar faces all the time. You know the drill. Obviously, Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on the X now, as it's known. So follow me. I'll follow you back. Otherwise, as my brother from another Steel Rain said, get ready, set the alarms right now. We are about 9 hours away from living split screen. That's right. We missed last week. We hate missing a show. So you know we're going to bring it extra tomorrow. 3+ hours. Buckle up. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Split screen, all one word. Tell a friend, bring a friend. We are still on mission 1K, no matter what, and beyond. And we have been growing. It's been fun. And we do have a lot to get into tomorrow. So be there tomorrow morning. And then otherwise, tomorrow night, the Shop Podcast, like my brother from another Fuzzy just talked about. That's right. PTK Blam's channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Blam, Fuzzy, myself, and Web Dave tomorrow night. Best way to end your Saturday night, the Shop Podcast. Be there. Sunday, might see an extra little bit of me on Sunday as well. So be on the lookout for that. And then, of course, next week it starts all over again. Always Xbox Factor Podcast. Even if I'm not there, doesn't matter. Listen, Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. All good things green every Tuesday. Always an awesome panel. Shout out to Boom, Mr. 13K. And of course, then Thursdays, it's PM in the PM. Pong and Mav in the PM, or PCMR in the PM, as Poison Maniac likes to say. We'll be back next week. We had a guest, Luke Lore, just yesterday. So if you didn't catch that, Insipid Ghost, Luke Lore, just one of the best dudes in the community. You got to go watch that episode. We had a great time. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, every Thursday night. Be there next week for that one as well. And of course, you know it. It's the golden age of gaming, people. It really is. Everybody talking about how much there is to game. It's just going to keep going and going and going. Golden age is here. Get out there, play what you love what you play. Have a fantastic start to your weekend. I'm going to talk to you all real soon. And again, everybody say congrats to Mav on hitting 4K. Mav and Caitlin hitting 4K for the Fun Speculation Network. Big deal. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Appreciate it, bro. We do have I was late to the party super chat from Vic the Click to get to real quick. Batman is not a superhero. Click. Man, I can't say that. Like, you're making me say it and it hurts. Yeah, see all my Batman shit back here? I love Batman. He's super.
Love him so much. You got a 7-foot tall Moon Knight in the back.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll replace that with Batman one day. Maybe I will. But he says, amazing episode, guys. And remember, Bruce is just a rich guy with nice toys. Okay. Fair enough. Appreciate you, Vic. Have a good one, everybody. And play some games. Take it easy.
Bye.